Good evening and welcome everyone once again back to the W12 Sprint Series. Today's commentary only brought to you by me, not by Kevin, because Kevin is at the moment sick at home. Sadly for him, he could not be here tonight with me. Of course, wish him all the best and a speedy recovery. Welcome all, we're back with the W12 Sprint Series as always on your Monday evening. And well, what a banger it's going to be here in this first server as always. Some cracking racing on the line here, and as you can see, we're at the Summit Point Raceway. Today we're on the full course, of course the full Summit Point Raceway with the V8 supercars. The drivers have been busy practicing the whole time. Of course 30 minutes of practice they have before they go into qualifying, that one-shot qualifying. Of course located in the United States of America, this track in the city Summit Point. That's where the track gets its name from. It's a length of 3.2 kilometers. The track temperature at the moment 32 degrees Celsius. And it is at an altitude of 192 meters. Ambient temperature for the drivers 28 degrees at the moment. So not too bad of, weather at the moment here at the Summit Point Raceway. And let's see what the drivers, or how the drivers are stacking up at the moment. This is how they line up in the practice session. Just 1 minute of the practice to go. We'll go on board once we get into qualifying. And I'm very, very much looking forward to it. Hope you all are happy today in joining me. And, well, as always, we're happy to have you here at the W12 Sprint Series. What a draw it has been. Jonas Vana, Mirko Bortolotti, the two, well, of course, championship protagonists, of course, at the moment at the top. We will show the championship standings at the beginning of Server 2. So we will show them at that time. As you guys know, of course, here with the W12 Series, we have a lot of drivers to, of course, take a look at here because, well, it's not only, of course, this Christian Maya who we are with. This is the man at the moment in second. This is Mirko Bortolotti. Let's ride on board with him. And, well, we know he's quick. We know what he can do in this car. And, well, it's to no one's surprise that he's at the top at the moment. Just improved. That last lap in qualifying was 2.5 tenths quicker than Jonas Vana. Jonas Vana, of course, not out on track, so they drove with different track, well, circumstances, so that the track temperatures might have been different and things like that. But we'll take a look with the drivers that are going to go out. We're, of course, going to take a look with the one, the only Mirko Bortolotti. Of course, we're on the roll bar now of the, well, Ford supercar he's driving. And as last week, let us know in the chat which supercar you prefer. Of course, you can choose of the Holton V8 supercar or the Ford Mustang V8 supercar. So go and choose your way. And, well, we will of course see in chat, because I'm keeping an eye on chat on my right hand side, and see which car is the most popular at the moment in this server. It's quite divided. You're going to see that once the times pop up. Mirko Bortolotti already setting his first lap time, so this is the lap time where it matters. He's going to have to go for it. Not quite looks like he's going for it. It looks like the dash behind the steering wheel is also stuck in 6th gear. You can see if you go onto cockpit mode that on the steering wheel he is in 2nd gear. He's not in 6th gear the whole time. He's not giving it out everything. And here at Summit Point, I think the start line is halfway down the main straight, so you actually cross it once you have your outlap, and a lot of drivers will not know that, and I have a feeling Mirko Bortolotti doesn't know that either. He's going to now start his lap, I think, which will already be his lap, and we're going to see that now. Here you come out of the pit lane, and there is the line already, so that was the lap for Mirko Bortolotti. It depends if the game has taken that as a lap. It did not, so this is Mirko Bortolotti's lap now. I thought for a second that Mirko Bortolotti did know that that was his lap, but this is now his lap. They must have changed that since our last race day. I've driven in this V8 supercar myself, and it's a really tricky beast to drive. You can see now we're heading down into turn 3. It's a left-hander, 3rd gear corner, a little bit of oversteer on exit for Mirko Bortolotti. You know, go into turn 4. Really tricky one, this one. Also a third gear corner. And a second gear left-hander is turn 5. And, well, on exit, you have to watch out that you don't oversteer. Don't be too greedy on that low pedal. Don't stamp it too hard, and then you will be good on exit there now through these last couple of corners. We're into the last sector now with Mirko Bortolotti. Let's see what times are coming in. Mirko Bortolotti, not the first one. Jonas Vana, the first one with a 109.523. Let's see what Mirko Bortolotti can do. The last corner, can he keep it validated? Yes, he can. Mirko Bortolotti, that was better safe than sorry in that first lap. Mirko Bortolotti across the line. What lap time will it be for him? There we go. A 1 minute 09.458. And that is just half a tenth quicker than Jonas Vana in second. And that's absolutely great to see there from Mirko Bortolotti. Let's see if he can stay pole position. Don't know yet. I don't think he will. With that time. Because we have seen quicker in practice. No, we are not going to see anyone go quicker than that. At the moment, it looks like no one is going to go quicker than Mirko Bortolotti is. 109.458 is at the moment the pole position time. We're looking now on with the only Niels Langeveld. Here he is across the line. He comes to put in his lap time. He jumps up to 9th overall. Of course, we have our championships overall and, of course, the silver class as well. A man who hasn't been out on track yet, Stefan Capella, Monix Heister, and Julien Rambo. They haven't been out on track yet. Of course, a couple of drivers still in the minus points in the championship. Thomas Leitgeb is out on track. I think that he's just practicing because he has had his lap as well. Here we go. Oh, he's around. Let's see where that is. That is the last corner. And it looks like he has visited the barrier somewhere and just holding V8 supercar. Not what you want to do in this first qualifying lap. Thomas Leitgeb in last position in those who have qualified. 2.8 seconds behind the man in pole position, Mirko Bortolotti. 5 minutes of qualifying have almost already just vanished. And, well, that's how quick it goes here in W12 series. Of course, for the people who don't know, we will have 2 heat races after this. And, of course, I have to correct myself and Kevin from last week. We said that, of course, the Grand Slam was done by 2 drivers and that it was qualifying included. Now, we have been informed that qualifying is not included in that. It's only the race in such events that is the deciding factor. So that means that Mirko Bortolotti has done it as well. Let's take a look, though, quickly at the grid for the first heat race. Mirko Bortolotti is going to start from pole position ahead of Hendrik Augustin in second. Ben Hitz in third. Martin Stadtmann fourth. Niels Langeveld in fifth. Maximilian Paul in sixth. Pascal Haas seventh. Thomas Piba in eighth. Ninth, Matthias Lebelt. 10th, Bjorn Ritter. 11th, Josh Files. And 12th, Marnix Heister. 13th, Harald Bluma. And in 14th, the only silver driver on the grid, Stefano Pellegrino. Well, let's continue to this race. It's a standing start, of course, here for these drivers. And let's see, we're looking on with Mirko Bortolotti. If he's on the grid yet, he's not. There we go. Mirko Bortolotti not on the grid yet. I was worried for a second that SDK wasn't working with me. But it, of course, is. Well, as we know, Ben Hitz is going to be the third on the grid here. Mirko Bortolotti last week, he, of course, was too late. He didn't grid for that race. It was not a penalty at all. It was just Mirko Bortolotti forgetting to grid. This time, though, he does grid. There he is on the starting grid. We're at the camera in turn 1. They're now almost all on the grid. Monix Heister is the only one who still has to put his car on the grid. When he does, we're going to go green, green, green. Bulldog Designs, welcome to the stream. He says hello. Welcome, my friend, to the W12 Sprint Series. Let us know what your favorite supercar is. Is it the Holden V8 supercar? Or is it the Ford Mustang V8 supercar? Let us know. And we'll see which car is dominating in this session. As you can see, I'm going to give you guys, in block 1, I'm going to give you guys here we go. Where is it? I can't find it. Well, I'll give it to you guys in a second. There it is. the car logo. There we go. 4-5. Red lights are on, and we're green for the first heat race here. And it's already a crash at the start, and that is probably Henrik Augustin. And Manix Heiser is also dropping back. He started the pit lane. Nico Bottolino getting challenged for the lead in the turn 1. Ben Hitz gets a touch from Niels Langeveld in turn 1, I think. Has to go a little bit wide. It's now 3 Gazak drivers in the first 3 positions. Maximilian Paul, Niels Langeveld, and Nico Bottolino a little bit further back. Though Maximilian Paul, can he complete that overtake on Ben Hitz? Not quite. Ben Hitz comes back at him into turn 3 though. Ben Hitz though, what a beautiful defense there, I have to say. Pascal Haas is the one now defending from Josh Fowles. Josh Fowles in the more yellow livery. A little bit further up the road though. Here we have Maximilian Paul still trying to overtake Ben Hitz, who doesn't allow him past. Thomas Piba though is now ahead. There's a crash in the background. That is Harald Blumauer and I think Martin Stadtmann. There goes Manix Heiser in the Irwin yellow, Holden liveried V8 supercar. He comes through, started from the pit lane up into 12th now. Here goes Thomas Piba, of course, also involved in that crash. Nico Bottolino already has a 1.2 seconds gap to Niels Langeveld. That's exactly what he wanted. He wants as much gap as he can in those first couple of laps to try and get them outside of that slipstream race, and he's doing exactly that at the minute. Ben Hitz is the one in 3rd. He's trying to, well, let's just say keep Maximilian Paul behind him. He's doing a successful job to that at the moment. Maximilian Paul, we know how quick he is, and he's definitely able to overtake Ben Hitz though, but Ben Hitz putting up a beautiful defense here in those first couple of corners. Is now 1-2 for Gazx. Could they make it a 1-2-3? That's the question for Gazx. That would be absolutely amazing. It's now at the moment a 1-2, 4 and 6 for the Gazx drivers, because Josh Fowles is in 6th at the moment. He has Pascal Haas ahead of him, who's trying to overtake Maximilian Paul as well. A little further back though, Thomas Piba trying to overtake Stefano Pellegrino. We know how quick these drivers are, and we know how quick they have been throughout the season. And I have to say, Thomas Piba, that's not how you want to do it. That's a crash. Manix Heiser on the brakes, and luckily for him, he's not involved in that. Overtakes them as well. Martin Stadtmann waits, I think, or Thomas Piba wins to Stefano Pellegrino, but that's not what you want to see. Stefano Pellegrino allows Thomas Piba allows Stefano Pellegrino past in the Gazx livery car. And that's how you do it. Clement Schmidt says the Holden car. Welcome Clement Schmidt to the stream, of course. Hope you'll be here with us for server 2. I think that's going to be the case. And I hope your training session today went well. I saw you were doing some cycling on the bike, of course, inside. I hope that went well for you, buddy. And well, welcome to the stream. It's Mirko Bortolotti leading the way for the Gazx team. Niels Langeveld in 2nd. Of course, I have to tell you guys about some additions, of course, to those servers as well. This is still the closest battle out on track. This is the battle for P11, Harald Blumauer and Martin Stadtmann. The Formula 3 car was added into the draw for server 1. And the BMW hypercar has been added to the draw for server 2, so we could potentially see the Audi LMDH entering the W12 series. And boy, am I excited for that. And he did it again. This time it's the other way around. Martin Stadtmann doing exactly the same to Harald Blumauer. What Harald Blumauer did to Martin Stadtmann. Oh, excuse me, that's a little bit further back. That was Stefano Pellegrino and Thomas Piba. Excuse me. I'm all over the place. The same liveries fighting against each other. So it does get confusing sometimes. This is Pascal Haas. That was a little bit all over the place for Josh Fowles. That was a little bit of a slide there. That's not what you want to see though. Gathers it back up though and is back on his way. Pascal Haas though, the one in 5th behind Maximilian Paul, now wants to try and catch up. Well, the fights are basically already been fall out, and this is the one, Thomas Piba going up the inside of Stefano Pellegrino. Can it happen cleanly this time? Yes, it can. They're still side by side though on the exit of turn 1. Who's going to get out ahead of those two? They're still side by side. Ahead of this is Martin Stadtmann, I think, in the Gazx livery. There he goes, Stefano Pellegrino up the inside of Martin Stadtmann. That's not how you want to do it. Stefano Pellegrino off into the tire barrier on the left-hand side. And that's going to be his heat race done. And that's not going to be a great starting position for the race for him. Mirko is an alien. Yes, of course he is. I have to say, that was, by the way, my best German. There he goes. Probably starting, if not the last lap, the second to last, because it's going to be close, though. Christopher Agnes says, raise of thanks. And, well, it's Christmas time. We love giving, of course. And, well, I hope you're all good and you're all having an amazing day out there watching this stream. And I hope we can add some excitement to your day as well. Ben Hitt still the one in third. It's the Red Bull livery Holden V8 supercar. And it looks like Holden is the car to choose here. The only odd one out is Mirko Bortolotti. He's in first. And the next vote we find is Pascal Haas in fifth. If you're wondering, where is Kevin Getzel? He's not here, sadly, with us this evening. He is very ill at the moment. He's very sick. And, of course, we wish him all the best and a speedy recovery. I don't know if he's in chat at the moment, but we wish him all the best and a speedy recovery, of course. Hopefully, he will be here with me next week again. Björn Ritter still trying to overtake Harald Blumauer in P12. This is the fight for that place. Mirko Bortolotti, though, he is going to start another lap. There is Boy the Flagman waving that flag and waving the white flag. He has not taken a day off this time round. And, well, what a drive from Mirko Bortolotti it has been so far. Not over yet, though, I have to say, because Niels Langeveld is 3 seconds back. If he does spin or anything else, Niels Langeveld is still there to pick up the pieces. Ben Hitt is in third. That gap has opened up now to Niels Langeveld. Maximilian Paul a little bit further back is, well, 1.2 seconds back now. And behind that is Pascal Haas. He's the only one who might be able to, well, look for an overtake on this last lap. Apart from him, though, I don't think anyone will do so because, well, Josh Files is too far back from Pascal Haas. So we'll stay on board with Pascal Haas for a minute here. Well, let's see where he's going to go. Mirko Bortolotti is going to come through to complete the lap and the first heat race to take pole position. Let's take a look at that. Mirko Bortolotti, though, has taken pole position and now takes the first heat race. Could this be the first big Grand Slam? Of course, the Grand Slam only the races. But Mirko Bortolotti says I can do qualifying and I can do the heat race. Mirko Bortolotti wins the first heat race here of the W12 series. Niels Langeveld comes through in second, ahead of Ben Hitt's Maximilian Paul in fourth. And fifth is Pascal Haas. Josh Files comes through in sixth, a little bit further back though. No battles here anymore. And the last one to probably come across the line is Björn Ritter. He's behind Harald Blumauer. Can he try and make a move? I don't think so. 2.3 seconds is the gap. That's too big to do anything here in those last couple of laps. Well, guys, I hope you enjoyed that first heat race. That was absolutely amazing racing. Action from start to finish. You're not done yet, Björn Ritter, though. Get it over the finish. A little bit of a touch on the barrier. He is all over the place, all over the grass. Björn Ritter, as we hear a big engine blow up in the background. Björn Ritter, though, across the line. There we go. That's the result from our first heat race. Here we have the result then for our first heat race. There we go. Mirko Bortolotti wins out of Niels Langeveld. And Ben Hitt's in P3, Maximilian Paul in P4, and Pascal Haas in P5. That's our top 5. We'll quickly get into the grid of the next start. Jonas Vana will be starting on pole position. They're already done though. So we have to go to the track. They're not done yet though. No. Julien Rambo is still waiting on Jonas Vana P1, Hugo Sasse P2, Mario Stoek P3, Ben Green P4, Daniel Zomer P5, Patrick Hen P6, Tyler Klaus P7, Florian Becker P8, Florian Stadtman P9, Thomas Leike P10, Julien Rambo in P11, Sean Ter in 12th, and let me really do this, and there we go, Christian Maier P13 and Stefan Capella in P14. Thank you, Julien Rambo, for giving me the time to, well, take into account that I didn't do the grid yet. So a big thank you there to him. Here we have, of course, the man in pole position, the man who's going to be fighting it out for the championship together with Mirko Bortolotti. 5 red lights and we're green for the second heat race here in the W12 Series Server 1. Jonas Vana gets off to a very good start. Hugo Sasse behind him though gets off to a very good one as well. Can he try to move up a position into turn 1? No, he can't. Into turn 1, though, Mario Stoek moves up a position and moves Ben Green down 1. Patrick Hen goes around the outside of Daniel Zomer, who has to slot it into 6th. A little bit further back, Florian Becker up 1 position. Florian Stadtman also up 1. Tyler Klaus, though, losing 2 positions. This is the man at the moment at the front of the field. It is Jonas Vana. It is the man who's been leading so many races here. Didn't do qualifying too well. Of course, qualified second there. Not first Mikko Bozotti was the one who qualified in first position, but this is of course the qualifying for the main event. Of course, it's good to pick up some points here in these heat races as well, definitely. But this is really a setup for the main event, the feature race. Jonas Vana at the moment leading the way ahead of Hugo Sass. A little further back though, Florian Becker, what can he do? Can he try and move past Patrick Hen? At the moment he can't though. Well, let's just say that he's been trying, and this well might be his opportunity. Patrick Hen with a little bit of a mistake coming on to the front straight, and that is Florian Becker past. A little bit further up the road though, Ben Green goes past. Hugo Sasse says, I'm the first Kazakh driver to lead this train here, and he absolutely does do so. It's Mayusuk now still in the toe of Jonas Vana. It isn't giving Jonas Vana an inch. The gap though still 8 tenths, as we know here. There we go. That's the gaps at the moment. Tyler Klaus is the one who's at the moment in P8. Julian Rambo, of course, in P13. Started from a long way back. Well, it's gone down to further position. Daniel Sommers has had something in the first heat race, or in the second heat race. He's down in 14th, down 9 positions. He started 5th, down in P14 for him. So that's really gone downhill. Not a good starting position for him. That will mean in the feature race, so he will be trying working his way back up the order in the feature race. Jonas Vana is the one still leading this way, though, has 1.4 seconds of a gap to Marius Suk behind him. Ben Green still behind Marius Suk, but getting closer to him. Further back though, Florian Stadtmann side by side with, I think it's Chanter behind him. Yes, it is. No, it's not Chanter. Patrick Hen has gone off the track though. It was Florian Stadtmann who was behind him, and Tyler Klaus is past him. So Tyler Klaus is past Florian Stadtmann and past Patrick Hen, because Patrick Hen went off into turn 1, and that has allowed Chanter as well to go past him. So not too great there for Patrick Hen. And an off moment there in turn 1. That's never what you want to see though. But Patrick Hen, can he now try and re-overtake Chanter to try and move up back into P7? Chanter, we know how good he is in defending his position. Well, tremendously well at that at the moment. Florian Stadtmann in 7th. 6th is Tyler Klaus, still in the battle with Florian Becker ahead of him. A little bit of an off moment there though for Tyler Klaus. Can he keep it going in a straight line? Yes, he can. Will Florian Stadtmann though catch up to him? Yes, he will. A little bit wide for Tyler Klaus in the last corner as well. He can keep it in a straight line though, but he's all over the place at the moment is Tyler Klaus. Has allowed Florian Becker, or Florian Stadtmann, excuse me, to get past him as well. Florian Stadtmann now is chasing down Florian Becker. Florian Becker with a little bit of a luck up into turn 1 though. That's not what he would have wanted, and that is definitely losing him some time. Dropping down the order is Tyler Klaus again. And he is not having a great evening here in the W12 Sprint Series. First heat race. Again an off moment for him. Tyler Klaus all the way down in last position in this heat race at the moment. So did not have the best heat race. Daniel Sommer now up one position. So at least get something back. That's why you kids never give up. That's why you, like I said, never give up to gain back some of those positions. This is Thomas Leibgib trying to get past Julian Rambo. He started a long way back, was down 2 positions at one point, is now up 2 positions on his starting position. Doing a great job, like I said, never give up. Chanter at the moment in 8th has allowed Patrick Hen past. Here is Patrick Hen, already has a gap of almost a second over the young Chanter. 13 weeks and 30 years and 4 weeks old, if I'm correct, is Chanter, the youngest driver in the W12 Sprint Series. And well, he's left his mark last week, of course, finishing 2nd at, I think it was, well, it was not Donington Park, it was, well, we'll get to that in a second. Anyways, he finished 2nd in the main race, so not the feature race, but the main race. Then in the feature race, of course, he had that terrible pit stop, which put him all the way down the order. Jonas Vana still leading his way 3.6 seconds over Marius Suk. Hugo Sasse still defending from his teammate Ben Green, not giving him an inch though, but got also closer to Marius Suk. So these three are really up for a fight here. And I think Jonas Varna is going to start the last lap in just the second time. Here is Jonas Varna. Has, well, 10 seconds left to get to the line, and that is definitely going to be enough time for him to get to the line. Marius Souk in second and Hugo Zasse in third. There we go. Across the line he goes for the last lap. Here we have the battle for that, well, so much wanted second position. This is Hugo Zasse, Marius Souk and Ben Green in the fight. Ben Green is the last one, trying to go up the inside of Hugo Zasse. Went for the move, didn't quite make it stick. Never got the opportunity to make it stick though, and that lost him a huge amount of time. Ben Green, here we have him, lost time to Hugo Zasse. Hugo Zasse is now within half a second of Marius Souk. He's going to have to try something very soon, otherwise time is going to be trickling away here for him. And it looks like it's almost already too late, but the gap that Jonas Varna has at the moment, 4 seconds, that gap. Unbelievable how dominant he has been this race. 4 seconds, that is. Well, we haven't seen that yet, I think, this evening. Someone being so dominant. Mirko Bozzolotti couldn't quite do it. Jonas Varna, though, here he is at the front of the field. Gonna have one last corner to come through, and he will do that successfully. And he also will start the weekend with a win. Jonas Varna wins in the W12 Sprint Series. Heat 2, server 1 is for Jonas Varna. Hugo Zasse behind that comes through. Ahead of Marius Souk. What happened between those three? We're going to quickly take a look at that, because here it happened. Hugo Zasse passed Marius Souk. Here we have it, the pass. Did it happen into the last corner? Yes, it definitely did. Into the last corner, the pass was on for P2. Great move, and Ben Green also might be able to capitalize on that. Not quite. He had to stay behind though. But what a finish that was for Heat Race 2. Everyone has finished except Christian Maya and Tyler Klaus. Here are these guys. Here's Christian Maya coming across the line in 5 seconds time. Wow. What a drive, and he finishes it off in style, Christian Maya. That was, well, and I have nothing else to say than just wow, wow, wow. Let us know in chat, what did you think of that race? Because, wow. That was absolutely amazing, and that's what you're going to be up for here in the W12 Sprint Series, and that's what I like about this series. It's so versatile. I love it. It's so much drivers can take the victory here, and well, this time it was, sadly for the run for the lead, it was well, Jonas Varna with a dominant performance. For Jonas Varna, he won't mind having a dominant performance. The only thing he cares about is of course the championship, because he could be the only, or he could only be the second different champion from the W12 Sprint Series, and we're already in Season 4. 3 times has Mirko Bortolotti won it. 1 time in a season he had a Grand Slam. Let's quickly take a look though at the results quickly from race 1 again to refresh everyone. Mirko Bortolotti won ahead of Niels Langeveld. Ben Hitz in 3rd, Maximilian Paul in 4th, and in 5th it is Pascal Haas. Let's quickly now take a look at the results from race 2. There we go. It is Jonas Varna in 1st, Hugo Zasse 2nd, and Marius Souk 3rd, Ben Green in 4th, and Florian Becker in 5th. There we go now to the grid. Mirko Bortolotti in 1st, Jonas Varna in 2nd, Niels Langeveld in 3rd, Hugo Zasse 4th, Ben Hitz 5th, Marius Souk 6th, Maximilian Paul 7th, Ben Green 8th, Pascal Haas 9th, Florian Becker 10th, Josh Fowles 11th, 12th, Florian Stapman, Hendrik Augustin 13th, Patrick N 14th, Matthias Lebelt in 15th, 16th, John Ter, Manix Heistron 17th, 18th, Thomas Leitgeb 19th, Martin Stapman 20th, Stefan Capella, Thomas Piba in 21st, Daniel Sommer 22nd, Harald Blumauer 23rd, and Julian Rambo 24th, Björn Ritter 25th, Tyler Klaus 26th, Stefano Pellegrino 27th, and Christian Maya in 28th. That's the grid for now, and the red lights are on. Let's take a look at Mirko Bortolotti. There was a jump start a little bit further back in the field. I don't know for who though. Mirko Bortolotti gets off to a good one. Jonas Varna gets off to an even better start. He's already alongside Mirko Bortolotti. Mirko Bortolotti will look to try and keep that inside line into turn 1. He can manage to do so. Jonas Varna is going to have to stick it all the way around the outside. Can he run Mirko Bortolotti around the outside? No, he can't. Mirko Bortolotti beautifully defends that on the inside. Niels Langeveld though gets through in third is defending form from Hugo Sasse. Does that successfully, and he's now up into third. And in the background, though, we see a crash, and Mark Zeisler is definitely involved in that. Comes back on the track and gets collected by one of the other supercars. That's, I think, Florian Stadtmann. Yeah, it was Florian Stadtmann. Oh, that's not what you want to see. Florian Stadtmann already very early on out of this race. Well, let's just say that's not what you want to see this early on in the race. That means that his race is pretty much already over from the start. Mikko Bortolotti, though, here we have him, Jonas Vanna. This is going to be a big fight between these. This is not only a fight, of course, for who wins this server. This is also a fight for the championship. This is a straight fight for the championship. This is P1 and P2 in the championship. Of course, Mikko Bortolotti being in P1 and Jonas Vanna being in P2. Jonas Vanna, he had a great drive last time out. And well, he gained a lot of points that managed, or that got him up into P2 in the championship, because it wasn't looking too rosy for him before that. He's now going to try and make that move. Not quite able to make it, though. Gets the cut back on Mikko Bortolotti. Mikko Bortolotti knows how to place his car. He knows where to put his car for Jonas Vanna not to get past. And well, what a battle this is. Mikko Bortolotti, can he defend for 18 minutes on Jonas Vanna? A little bit further back, we're going to take a look at the field as well. Here we have Sean Tess side by side with Martin Stadtmann. Well, what a drive from the young German against, of course, Martin Stadtmann. Can he make it stick? Not quite, though. Has to give that position to Martin Stadtmann. But a great try around the outside from the young Sean Tess. Going to make a move maybe up the inside. He's looking for a move, though. Not been able to pull one off. Patrick Hen is in 9th at the moment. Into the pit lane goes Hendrik Augustin already. That's an early pit stop for him. Of course, you have to take a pit stop in this feature race. Matthias Lebel a little bit further back. That's someone off. That is Julien Rambo. Julien Rambo is into the barrier. And that's not what you want to see this early on in the race. And I think that was all on his own. And well, that is not good for Julien Rambo this early on in the race. Well, let's say that Julien Rambo will not be happy with that. Let's take a look again at the front of the field. Mikko Bortolotti now has an 8-second or an 8th gap to Jonas Vanna. Hugo Sasse in 3rd, still defending from Niels Langeveld and Marius Stoek. Marius Stoek now trying it up the inside of Niels Langeveld. Has to lift out of the throttle, though. Still keeps it up the inside. What a great drive from Marius Stoek. Can he make the move stick? No, he couldn't quite. Still up the inside, though, of Niels Langeveld. Now Niels Langeveld has that move covered. And well, Marius Stoek has the better exit onto this straight, has the slipstream. He's almost on the grass. Mikko Bortolotti posts the quickest lap time of the session so far. And he's absolutely driving magically. That's Marius Stoek trying it around the outside, not quite able to pull it off. Had a little bit of rear locking, I think. That's why he slid into the corner. Marius Stoek now almost losing that position to Ben Green. This is an amazing fight between those 4 drivers. Ben Green now making a move up the inside of Marius Stoek. Sends him wide into turn 4. And couldn't quite make that stick now up the inside of turn 5. Can he make this one stick? Not quite a corner to go side by side through. Doesn't do so as well. Niels Langeveld is now a little bit clear of Marius Stoek. Ben Green still trying to make that way past. And he's round. Ben Green is round. And Martin Stadtmann is past. Josh Files goes past. Everyone goes past. And Ben Green has to wait and let everyone pass. He doesn't do so, though. And there is a collision between Ben Green and I think Stefan Capella. Stefan Capella is the front 2 of these ASR drivers. Tyler Klaus is the second of the 2. But Stefan Capella will not be happy with that. And well, I have to say, that's gutting for Stefan Capella. Had nothing to do with that. But just couldn't quite see around that corner. Ben Green is immediately going to go into that pit lane to get his car repaired. Get back out on track. Mikko Bortolotti still with almost a second of a gap. And well, what a drive for Mikko Bortolotti this is being at the moment. Is opening up that gap little by little. Well, there is a point where he's outside of the slipstream and that gap will start to grow more quickly. And that point is now, I think, 2/10 the gap up already this lap. I think that Jonas Vanna really needed that slipstream to, well, maybe be a little bit quicker than Mirko Bortolotti. And now he's maybe a little bit slower than Mirko Bortolotti on average pace, though. And that's what counts here in an 18-minute race. Let's see what these guys do in terms of strategy. They both still have to pit. Jonas Vanna, there he goes into the pit. Exactly right on cue when I say it. Into the pit. There's a touch with the barrier, though, for Jonas Vanna. That could mean there's some damage on that car. Let's take a look at the pit lane camera. There he is. Here we have Jonas Vanna. Where is he going to come out? Is there damage on the right hand side of that car? Here he goes. He goes past. Back onto the racing track goes Jonas Vanna. He's out in 16 at the moment. Mirko Bortolotti is probably going to stay as long as he can behind these driver overtakes one of the back markers, and that is probably, if I'm correct, Kasamaya. No, it's not. It is. Who is that? I don't know who that is. Is that Patrick Hen already? Who was that? Who was that back marker? I don't know who that was. Let's take a look. We have a better option to do so. There we go. It is Thomas Leibgib. Sorry, Thomas, for not recognizing your livery there. It's one that stands out of the rest. It's not the normal one that Mirko would, of course, have stuck behind traffic, so that is going to lose him a little bit of time here to Jonas Vanna. Jonas Vanna had a really quick pit entry, although I am scared for Jonas Vanna that he has to go into the pit lane again, maybe for a drive-through, because it looked like he was too quickly into pit lane. Doesn't go into pit lane this time round. 7.5 minutes done of this 18-minute feature race. Of course, the heat race won by Mirko Bortolotti. Heat race 2 won by the other championship protagonist, Jonas Vanna. And now the feature race led at the moment by the man in first in the championship, Mirko Bortolotti. A little bit further back in the field, though, there's a battle between Chanter and Björn Ritter. Can Chanter try and overtake Björn Ritter? Not quite. The red car being Björn Ritter. The black and white car is Chanter, the NCI sponsored car. Chanter, though, dropping back a little bit through the field. Björn Ritter is the one who at the moment got past him. Let's take a look if we can get more information up on screen for you. I think we definitely can. There we go. There we have more information for you about the driver, Chanter performance. The team he's driving for, and he just overtook Björn Ritter. Beautiful move for Chanter. Like I just said, 13 years and 4 weeks old, if I'm correct. Correct me if I'm wrong. Chanter, though, big snap into the last corner, defends the inside. Into the pit lane, though, goes Björn Ritter. Of course, he still has to make his pit stop. Chanter is now going to pick up a couple of positions. Marius Suk also into the pit lane. Also one to look out for in these cars. Marius Suk always quick in everything he drives, and is proving to be quick once again this evening. And while he's not outside of a chance for the win here, Tyler Klaus is now trying to overtake Chanter, and Chanter goes deep into turn 1, and he loses that position to Tyler Klaus. Beautiful move by Tyler Klaus, forced Chanter into a mistake. Chanter, though, is going to try and get him back, not quite able to do so, though, and has to slide him back behind Tyler Klaus. And well, for now, let's say he is safe, Tyler Klaus, but Chanter will try and probably re-overtake him into 6th. Now he is. And what a drive from the young German. A little bit further back is Jonas Vanna trying to overtake Stefan Capella. This is not good for him. He's stuck in traffic. This is going to lose him time to Mirko Bortolotti. Hugo Zasse is in 2nd at the moment, into the pit lane as well. All drivers now making the pit lane. It is Stefan Capella, Chanter, Tyler Klaus, Niels Langeveld and Mirko Bortolotti, who still have to make their pit stop. And that's a little bit of an off track there for, I think, give me a second. That is Tyler Klaus. Tyler Klaus, though, into the pit lane. Jonas Vanna now trying to overtake Chanter. This is already with a pit stop made, so not in his race. Chanter should let this one go. That might be better for his overall race pace. He does do so, though. He's going to try and follow him round now into turn 1. Don't go too deep. Don't pick the braking points that Jonas Vanna has as well. Does do so, though, and Chanter up into 4th now. Of course, still has to make his pit stop. Stefan Capella, Chanter, Niels Langeveld and Mirko Bortolotti, the only ones to still make their pit stop. If we go to this and we give you guys the information about their pit time, there we go. That's the pit time of the drivers. You can see who has pitted and who hasn't pitted there. Tyler Klaus still has to make his pit stop as well. He's into the pit lane now. He's, I think, just made his pit stop. Tyler Klaus only did a drive-through. Might that have been for a penalty? We don't know yet. That could have well been the case. Welcome all once again to the stream. I hope you like it. If you do so, make sure to smash that like button and subscribe. Also, make sure to turn on your notifications to not miss anything of this W12 series, because as you can see, this is absolutely amazing racing. Niels Langeveld into the pit lane, Sean Terra to the pit lane, and Stefan Capella into the pit lane. The only one to still make his pit stop now, oh no, he has already made it, is Mikko Botsolotti. There he is coming out of the pit lane just ahead of Jonas Vana. Like I said, being stuck in traffic was the key for Jonas Vana. Jonas Vana had a shot to try and overtake him. Splundered it though by being stuck in traffic for too long, and Jonas Vana is now still second. But that proves to everyone that Jonas Vana does have the pace to maybe on pace try and overtake Mikko Botsolotti. We still have 6.5 minutes to go in this race. There's still a lot possible here, and it's still possible for Jonas Vana to overtake Mikko Botsolotti. Mikko Botsolotti ahead of him now though, and also along a pit stop, I just realized, for Jonas Vana 10.7 seconds, and for Mikko Botsolotti only 9.9 seconds though. Pit lane time for Jonas Vana 4 seconds quicker. I'll also give you an overview of the pit lane time. Here we go, there's that time. That's not the time I wanted to show. There we go, there we have the pit lane time up on screen for you now. Well, what a drive this has been from Mikko Botsolotti to try and keep ahead after that pit stop cycle. Had to do everything new when he needed to come into pit lane to keep ahead of Jonas Vana. Jonas Vana 4 seconds quicker on pit road. What a drive from Jonas Vana. 4 seconds quicker on pit road, but, there is a but, had a slower pit stop. So don't know how that has happened, but it doesn't seem to be completely right that. Everyone has made their pit stop, so that now can go. I hope you're all enjoying this. Like I said, 5 minutes left here in this feature race. There is a big fight between Florian Stadtmann and Sean Terre. Sean Terre keeping the outside, and Florian Stadtmann is past Sean Terre. Sean Terre has made his pit stop now on P14. This is, though, however, for P4 in the silver class. So this is for a position in their class. And it's not good to see those drivers struggle this much. Mikko Botsolotti still out of front. Hugo Sasse as well. But there we go, Florian Stadtmann under attack from Sean Terre. Sean Terre goes past, beautiful move by the young German. And once again, he moves up a position. That is him now into P4, but he does get a worse exit than Florian Stadtmann. Florian Stadtmann back past. They are having an absolute ding-dong battle, these two. Florian Stadtmann is now once again past Sean Terre. If Sean Terre can get past him once again, that would be absolutely amazing for every viewer here who's watching, of course, for the racing. But Florian Stadtmann this time, of course, can keep ahead and now can maybe try and build a gap to Sean Terre. Go on board with the one, the only, Sean Terre. Here we go, cockpit with Sean Terre. Here we're going to have a lap in just a second of this track. Oh, that's deep there from Sean Terre. Tried everything, a little bit of oversteer and everything in that car, in his Holden V8 supercar. As you can see, Fords and Holdens, they're both almost equally as much driven here in this server. So no particular car to be well, the best here. All cars the same, although some say that the Holden is quickest. Let's go on a lap with Sean Terre around this beautiful circuit. Well, of course, around this beautiful circuit. And like I said, here we have now the long front straight. We're going to go into turn 1. Braking at, well, don't know how many meters mark it is, but at the 5 cones. In front of us, there's a big battle going on as well. We're going to try and overtake Florian Stadtmann on the outside. Accelerating out of turn turn 1. Beautifully done so by Florian Stottmann. Better than Sean Tech. Got better on the accelerator than this turn. This is a third gear corner ahead of us. We see it's Stefano Pellegrino and Patrick Henner fighting as well. So maybe we could pick up a second place in the silver class as well. This lap maybe down the inside of Florian Stottmann. Not quite able to do so. As you can see, these drivers are back down quite a lot by the fighting that's going up ahead. Or that's going on up ahead. Through turn 6. This is now beautiful caught there. That snap of oversteer. Opposite lock with Sean Terre through turn 7 and 8. And now through turn 9. And we're fully on the throttle again. I'm going to try and overtake maybe on the inside Florian Stottmann. We're going to try and make that move into the last corner. We're going to show him our nose. We're going to show him that we are there. Down the inside we go. Oh, Florian Stottmann. Beautiful move by Sean Terre. That's the last corner. And that's also a lap on racing pace with Sean Terre. Beautifully driven by Sean Terre. Can he now try and re-overtake Florian Stottmann? Not quite there. Having an absolute ding-dong battle. Sean Terre now. Can he try and overtake Florian or Stefano Pellegrino ahead of him? They've been having an absolute ding-dong battle. This could be for P3 in this class, so he could pick well up. So he could well pick up a podium position here of Stefano Pellegrino. And if he could do so, that would be absolutely amazing for the young German. At the moment, he shows that he has the pace to do so. At the front of the field, though, nothing has changed. Mirko Bortolotti, it's once again going to be close, but I think he's going to be able to do one other lap after this one. Lap times are around the 109.9 marks at the moment. 110.8 for Jonas Weiner. Not the best lap there for him. Lost all of that time in Sector 1 and Sector 2. Sector 3 was almost equal with Mirko Bortolotti. So that's the sectors where he is struggling. We're going to go back to that fight between Sean Terre, Stefano Pellegrino. Sean Terre, could he get up into the podium? He tries it down the inside of the last corner. There's contact between the two. And Stefano Pellegrino's off into the gravel. That's not what Sean Terre would have wanted. That's not what Stefano Pellegrino would have wanted. We're going to take a look back at that after the race. Of course, Stefano Pellegrino, by rejoining, of course, spins again. Because the rear tires caught traction on the asphalt. Not what he would have wanted there. Not the way he wanted to rejoin as well. Has to give that place back, I think, to Florian Stottmann. And did do so, Sean Terre. We're on the second to last lap now for these guys. And wow, what a drive it has been for these two. Sean Terre in 14. 13 is Florian Stottmann. The gap is 3/10. This is still on for Sean Terre. He's done it multiple times now on Florian Stottmann. He's quicker in that last sector, and he has shown it multiple times. He could still pick up a podium here. And well, the one who could also still pick up a podium is Thomas Piba. 5.3 seconds back of Marius Suk. Something has to happen though to Marius Suk in order for that to happen. Josh Fowles is now going to try and overtake Florian Beck as well. He's going to try and go around the outside of turn 1. Can he make it stick though? Around the outside he goes. Josh Fowles, though, has to slot in behind Bennett's going to try and do the switch back, but Bennett parks it beautifully on the apex and doesn't allow Josh Fowles to do any switch back at all. Beautifully defended there by Florian Becker. And he continues his way in P6. We're going to go back to that battle between Sean Terre and Patrick Henn. Sean Terre has found his way past of Florian Stottmann again. What a drive from the young German. We're going to go over to Mirko Bortolotti because he won the first heat race. He qualified in pole position and he comes through to win the main race as well. He comes through to win the feature race ahead of the ever so quick Jonas Vana. What a drive from these two at the front. And well, they were a level above anyone else. Who was a level above anyone else is Marius Suk as well. Just a bit slower than Jonas Vana and Mirko Bortolotti as well, but what a drive from Marius Suk as well to finish in the top 3. We're going to go back to Sean Terre though, because look at this, he's stuck behind. Who is that? That's Hugo Sasse. He was stuck behind Hugo Sasse and he has lost P3 and P2 in the silver class. That's amazing. And Sean Terre now has to go into the pit lane maybe for a drive through for reaching the incident limit. We won't know, I think. We're going to ask him that, of course, afterwards. Tyler Klaus is going to pass him as well. Sean Terre is going to lose absolutely everything here in this feature race. Wow, wow, wow. That was action from start to finish. And here is the young Sean Terre. It looked so promising for him, but after that drive-through he had to serve. Well, let's just say it was race over for him. Ben Green finishes 18th. Stefano Pellegrino 17th, and well, that was everything. Let's quickly take a look though at what happened, because here we have it. Hugo Zasse crashed, and then he was trundling along, going back to the pit lane, and then I think here we're going to see them come through. No, we're not going to see them come through. Was this after? This was after. I think this was after the checkered flag. Chanter past Stefano Pellegrino. Let's look at this last lap battle. Here we go. There's that pass. And was there contact is my question. Gonna look in the nose of Chanter. And yes, I think... there was definitely contact. You could hear it between the two. There was contact between those two, and that's how he got up into P3 there. Had to, of course, give that position back to Florian. After that, here we go. Then Florian overtook him, of course. That's here where that happened. Oh, there we go. We see it again. A little bit later on, Ben Green past Stefano Pellegrino. Here we have it. What a battle this is. Also on the last lap, this one. We have Patrick Hen who passed Hugo Zasse. Here we have it. Here we have that last lap battle. Hugo Zasse, Patrick Hen. And all of them involved in that. In the background, you can see them. In the background, you can see Chanter. There he is coming through. He's still ahead of Florian. But then he gets caught up. Can't go to the left-hand side. Florian, well, takes full advantage of that. And there goes Hugo Zasse. Blocks him off. And while that was a bit harsh there from Hugo Zasse, was in the middle of the road. Not anything, of course, could go. He can't disappear. But Chanter couldn't quite make that stake and, well, had to lose everything in the end. Want to look at some of the crashes now that happened in this server, of course, all the way at the start. You, of course, remember the green flag. And the first crash we had was Marnix Heister. Here we go. If this is going to work, there we go. Marnix Heister, of course, crashed in the first lap together with Florian Stadtmann, I think, in the Holden-powered car. And there he goes, comes back on track. Well, that is not a great rejoin, I have to say, from Marnix Heister. Let's listen on board what he did. Did he have his throttle on? Did he have his brake on? Let's listen. Cockpit mode with Marnix Heister. Didn't have his brake on, but also didn't have his gas pedal on. Maybe it would have been better to stay out of the way there and to, well, hold his brakes. But yeah, it's of course always easy saying that afterwards. Then we had Vismaya, who of course had that crash. Here we go. Oh, there he goes. Gets collected. Wow, wow, wow. Who was involved in that as well? That was Thomas Lightgape who was involved in that as well. Never good to see that. Too much ink lost contact with Hugo Zasse, yeah. Well, nothing you can do there, I think, for Chanter. Was that blocking from Zasse? What was he doing there, being so slow? I don't know. Well, I think it was out of fuel. I think that was the reason, because he came to a hold after that as well. Low fuel, says Ter as well, yeah. Yeah, I agree with that, but it's, well, let's be honest, guys. It's easy saying that afterwards. In the moment, the only thing Hugo is thinking about, Hugo Zasse is thinking about, is I want to finish this race. Is it possible? Can I crawl to the finish line? And if he can't, and he finds that out too late, well, that's a bit sad for Sean. Of course, Sean maybe could have positioned this car a little bit better, because there was room on the left-hand side. Like, Hugo Zasse cannot vanish from the world of iRacing. So it's difficult one to say, and I think we'll leave that up to the stewards to decide. Let's take a look at one of the other crashes that happened. Of course, this was very early on in the race. Then we, of course, had the crash between Maximilian Paul Here we go. Here crashes Maximilian Paul to turn 1 a little bit too deep. And then you're off into the gravel. And then you're going to probably crash once again, coming back onto the track because your tires getting grip again. There we go. And another spin. Let's hope that he doesn't crash again because it says that he crashed again. Let's hope that he doesn't crash in turn 3. We're going to stay with him. No, there he goes. Returns back to pit lane. That was his crash. And a little bit further on, we had Matthias Lebelt with another crash. Here we have in the middle of it's the green car coming towards us. Braking too late for turn 1. Yes, it is. Oh, rear locking. And there we go. Around Matthias Lebelt goes. An unfortunate spin and nothing more there for Matthias Lebelt. Not too much crashes here. Hendrik Augustine is the other one with a crash. Here we have him, the full black car. Behind Marius Souk he was. There we go. Through early on throttle. Maybe contact with Marius Souk. There was the contact with Marius Souk and it crashes him out of the race. And then let's hope he can stay out of the way of everyone else. And this is the long wait. This is the long wait for Hendrik Augustine. And there he goes to the inside of the track. Best he could have done. Did that beautifully, waiting there, of course, until he could get back on track. Christian Maya crashed again. Not only that, but he crashed again after that incident he had at the beginning of the race. Too early, locking the rears into turn 1. Not the first time, guys, we've seen that. It's proven really difficult. Ter Eugen says, that was good race. Yeah, I agree with that. I have to say, I fully agree with that, and I terribly enjoyed that. We're, of course, taking a look back at what happened in that race. Matthias Lebelt had another crash later on in that race. It's the green car. Did he touch anyone or did he just reset back to pit lane? No, he reset it back to pit lane. Car probably not drivable at all. That was the last crash of this race. Let's go back to live pictures. Here we go now. If it lets me. There we go. We're back to live pictures. Does it let me? Come on. SDK. Well, let's wait. There we go. SDK was a bit slow. There we go. Let's look at the result once again from all the races. Just to fresh you guys up before we go into the break. Jonas Varna won in Heat Race 2. Ahead of Hugo Sassa, Mario Souk in P3. Ben Green in P4. Florian Becker in P5. Heat 1 was won by Meko Bortolotti. Niels Langeveld in P2 and Ben Hitz in P3. P4 for Maximilian Paul and Pascal Haas in P5. And now let's take a look at the feature race result. The race where it all counts. Meko Bortolotti, of course, won that one. If we go off this race without fastest lap, Meko Bortolotti has had a grand slam in server 1. You, of course, don't know what it's going to be for server 2 yet. We're, of course, in the wait for that. Jonas Varna in P2. Mario Stook in P3. Thomas Piba in P4. Niels Langeveld in P5. Josh Files P6. Florian Becker P7. Ben Hitz P8. P9 for Hendrik Augustine. P9 for Pascal Haas. Patrick Hen in P11. And P12 for Florian Stadtmann. Of course, the winner in the silver class, I forgot to say, was Florian Becker. We can take a look at that in a second. Tyler Klaus in P14. Harald Blumauer P15. P16 for Sean Ter. After that drive-through, of course, after too many incident points. Stefano Pellegrino in 17. Ben Green P18. 19. Daniel Sommer P20 for Hugo Sasse. And P21 for Björn Rita. 22nd Thomas Leitgeb. 23rd Christian Meyer. 24th for Julien Rambo. 25th Martin Stadtmann. Matthias Lebert P26. Maximilian Paul P27. And Manix Heiser, of course, with that crash at the beginning, all the way down in P28. Let's now take a look at the silver class. There we go. There is the silver class. Florian Becker won ahead of Patrick Hen. And Florian Stadtmann in P3. Stefan Capella in P4. Tyler Klaus P5. Sean Ter, even with that incident points drive-through in P6. Stefano Pellegrino in P7. Thomas Leitgeb in P8. And Christian Maya in P9. Julien Rambo, the last one of the silvers to come across the line. Dan, you do a really good job. Thank you. I appreciate that. I, of course, love to see those messages. And I love doing it. And, well, some exciting news, of course, following maybe in the next couple of weeks about myself. But I'm not going to spoil too much about that. It's still too early to say anything about that. But, yeah, in a few weeks, maybe we have some exciting news. And, yeah. We will be back shortly. We're going to go into a break now while the drivers warm up for server 2. And, well, I've enjoyed it. I hope you stay with us. I will be back in a second. Don't go anywhere. Well, we are back with the action here live from the Indianapolis Speedway. As we all know, this is the speedway that we all love and come to see. The Indianapolis Motor Speedway, the 1992 version though of it. And well, I have to say what a track this is with the GT4s. This is going to be absolutely amazing. And well, let's take a look at the track. Of course, the road course we are at, not the Indianapolis Oval. I had some time to let my voice rest. And, well, let's just say that I gave it some time to rest. Well, because, oh, that first server was absolutely amazing. Well, then let's get into this second server. Of course, this track located, as we all know, in the USA, the United States of America, in Indianapolis. And 4 minutes, or 4 minutes, 4.04 kilometers long. This track temperature at the moment, 23 degrees Celsius. At an altitude, this track of 223 meters. So that's where this track is positioned compared to the sea level. 19 degrees centigrade outside. So the ambient temp is 19 degrees Celsius with a humidity of 50%. Clear skies and a wind of 3 kilometers an hour. Let's quickly take a look here at all the cars and all the drivers. Of course, usually this is Kevin's segment, so usually Kevin does this segment. But today it's my turn because Kevin is sadly not here with us. Let's take a look at all the penalty weights for all these drivers. And let's start with the cars that has, well, probably the most ballast of them all. And I'm wrong in that because this is not the car that we are looking at. I was looking at Mirko Bortolotti. This is the car that has the most amount of ballast. It's the Porsche Cayman GT4. 30 kilograms for this car in this session. So much, of course, it was really, really quick last time out. So that's why it got 30 kilograms. Of course, we still all remember the drive from Sean Terre. What a drive he had, of course, in that race. And, well, got second in the first race. And in the second race, well, let's just say it was a race for him to forget. Because he did a pit stop and he drove past his pit man, so he had to drive another full lap, a fuel save lap, a big fuel save lap. So I'm talking lifting 500 meters before his actual braking point in order to save enough fuel. So yeah, not the best showing there from Sean Terre in that race, but of course we all know these things happen to every racer. You learn from it and you of course do better the next time around. Welcome back once again all to the W12 Sprint Series Server 2. This is the GT4s at the Indianapolis Motor Speedway road course. We're talking about the ballast. This Porsche Cayman GT4, 30 kilograms of ballast. After that, we have, if I'm correct, this car. The BMW M4 GT4. We're looking with Josh Files, one of the quickest drivers, of course, in this BMW. 25 kilograms for this car, so not it's quite a lot still compared to all the other cars. We're gonna get to the cars that have less ballast in a bit, but this BMW M4 car, really quick car. Then after that, it is this car. It is the Mercedes GT4, the car driven at the moment by Mirko Bortolotti. The car that has 0 kilograms and is in the session at the moment is, well, the Aston Martin. And oh my god, I forgot. I just had a blackout. No, I haven't. I got it again. The McLaren GT4. Goodness me, how can I forget that? I have to think about so many things in one time that sometimes you do forget some things. And, well, let's just say that was one of those moments. But Mirko Bortolotti in the Mercedes, of course, this car, 80 kilograms for Mirko Bortolotti in the Mercedes. This Aston Martin, 0 kilograms together with the McLaren. No McLaren out on track at the moment, though. So that's an interesting choice. Last week there were McLarens out on track, and well, this week there aren't. Although there's no ballast for these cars at the moment, so I expect the Aston Martin and the McLaren to be really quick. But if there's no Aston Martin in here, it's only going to be the Aston. Or if there's no McLaren in here, it's only going to be the Aston Martin who's going to be quick. I have a feeling in the server, of course, at the moment, Clement Schmidt in the BMW, the one at the top of the tables. Mirko Bortolotti in second with his Mercedes. 2/10 off of Clement Schmidt. Of course, we both know that these guys are absolutely quick in these cars. So, yeah, let's take a look with Mirko Bortolotti on the lap around this circuit. And we're going to crank the volume up, because we want to hear this engine roar. We're going to go on board with Mirko Bortolotti in just a second, before he heads on to the start-finish straight. Of course, a long back straight here. I have a feeling we're now onto the back straight. There we go. We're going to go into a left-hander now. Brake pretty early there, I have to say, Mirko Bortolotti, in terms of where he brake, in terms of where I brake when I drive these cars. Mirko Bortolotti, there we go. The last couple of corners onto the banking he goes. There we go. There goes Mirko Bortolotti. And let's go on board with Mirko Bortolotti to get a lap around this beautiful Indianapolis Motor Speedway road course. Well, then we got rudely interrupted by iRacing on our lap around this beautiful track. But let's say that, well, what we've seen was an amazing lap from Mirko Bortolotti. He definitely did break way later into the middle part of the track. Let's get into qualifying now. This is the time where you need to set your lap times. 17 minutes in, well, let's just say in 45 minutes, we are all done with the W12 Series for another round. 8 rounds already are done here this season, and well, what a... It has been quick, let's say it that way. 8 weeks already passed, and it is probably going to be a 14-round season, so it's going to carry on into, of course, next year for the people who would like to be there as well. But yeah, it's going to carry on into next year as well, and I'm of course looking forward to that, because it's always lovely to be here with you all and commentating on the W12 Sprint Series, because, well, what a lovely series this is, I can't deny it, and it's one of my favorites, especially with the format, how it's run. Like I said, one of my personal favorites. Well then, let's take a look on board with Mirko Bortolotti for one good lap around this track. Once again, I'm going to pump up the volume. Enjoy. that's a lap around the track. And look at that, 1,000th of what Marius Zug did. That's not too bad for Mirko Bortolotti. That's absolutely great. And that's a good first lap. Something that he can build on to, well, get himself maybe further up the order. Maybe one position more. Marius Zug, here he is, just in front of him in the Aston Martin. Has that toe, of course, now. Maybe down the bank straight. Marius Zug, though, not too great. Left the apex a little bit, well, in Africa there. And not too close to the apex. And, well, let's just say left some room to the apex. Is also not improving. Is Marius Zug at the moment. Yes, he is improving in Sector 1. Mirko Bortolotti is the one who's not improving. We're still on board with Marius Zug. A livery that we all well know. Here is his livery, the Mala livery. Well, I have to say, lovely livery that is. Always good looking, and let's see if it makes him quick as well. He's now of course gonna want to try and keep that shorter line to the finish straight. Can do so, and Mirko Bortolotti will follow him through in the slipstream. Let's see if Mirko Bortolotti can go ahead of him. I don't think so. Marius Zug improves his lap time to a 1:30.376. Mirko Bortolotti can't improve. The man who can improve, though, Hendrik Augustin. He's now up in P2. He was behind Mirko Bortolotti. 2 Aston Martins at the top. Like I said, I expected them to be quick because they have no ballast. It's the only car that doesn't have ballast today. So I think that explains why they are so quick at the moment. Of course, one of the other cars to take a look at is the McLarens, although we don't have a McLaren in this session. So you can forget what I just said. The McLaren, not a car to take a look at because we do not have it here with us this evening, which to me was a surprise because it doesn't have ballast. Usually the drivers pick the lightest car because that's usually, in a car class that already has a BOP, the quickest. Jonas Varna, of course, the man who won last time round. Mirko Bortolotti, if he can take pole position here, he could be on a hunt for the first ever official Grand Slam. Of course, we talked about it last week. Grand Slam totally not important to Mirko Bortolotti. The championship is what is important to him, and he wants to, of course, be a 4-time W12 Sprint Series champion. He's already done it 3 times. Why not the 4th, you would say? But yeah, we're going to stay with Jonas Varna. He has set himself up for another good lap, and let's see what he can do. Of course, across the finish line he goes. First turn is, of course, a right-hand turn. At the moment, Jonas Varna leading. Not leading, is in 7th of the overall class. Goes deep into turn 1, and that's his qualifying rondel, Niels Langeveld. I expect him to jump up the order a little bit in the next couple of laps. Not where I expected him to be. He's down on P11. Is improving, though, in Sector 2. Where can he also improve? Can he improve in Sector 3? Last lap time, a 1:30.2 is what he's trying to find. Can he get something off of that? Yes, he can. Doesn't improve position-wise, but his time, though, did improve. A 1:31.228 for Niels Langeveld. Julien Rambo in P12 at the moment overall, and leading the silver class in that BMW. So Julien Rambo looks to be really, really quick in that BMW GT4. And I have to say, I love that car. It's one of my favorites in terms of how it sounds and things like that. But I also just love the look of the car. And, well, it's just in general, it is a great car. And, well, let's just say, we love to hear it. And I think I'm not the only one who thinks that way. Thomas Piba at the moment in 13th. What a drive from Thomas. I think Thomas not really up to where he was at the beginning of the season. Has definitely been improving over the course of the season. Of course, this is not improving in terms of driver-wise. This is improving in how quick you learn the tracks and things like that. And I think Thomas has improved quite a lot in that this season. As has Pascal Haas, the one who just jumped him for P14. a lot of drivers actually have. So yeah, it's just interesting to see those drivers make those steps in the car. And of course, usually we race with cars that are exactly the same, so it's purely driver based. It's either one class or one car, or it's one class. So it's either GT4 or it's BMW LMDH, so only the BMW LMDH. Or it's the V8 supercar, but of course that's a class as well because we do have two different brands. But we all know that that doesn't make any difference between those brands. Clement Schmidt, the one improving at the moment, he's absolutely flying at the moment, setting the timing screens alight. He is in P5, or he is 5th at the moment in P5. And he's coming through the last corner now, the last bank corner. Can we call it a straight or can we call it a corner? Let me know in chat. Can we call the last corner a corner? Or is it part of the straight? Across the line goes Clement Schmidt, goes up into 4th. Behind him though, there is Mirko Bortolotti. It's not Mirko Bortolotti, he's in the other Mercedes, Martin Stadtmann. There he is. Towing, of course, is going to be a big part here in this race. A long tow down from P12, or down from turn 12 to turn 1 here on this track. So I think we're definitely going to see a lot of people tow each other around the track, give each other a little bit of slipstream, especially in qualifying. Florian Stadtmann just came through to complete a lap. He jumps himself up to P5 in the silver class, P20 overall. It does look like the silvers and gold or the silvers and overalls are quite divided. So the drivers who do actually drive for the overall class are actually a little bit higher up than the silver driver. Patrick Hen, the first of the silver drivers, in P12. So not too bad for Patrick Hen. Definitely did a great job in the first race as well. Of course, has been unlucky at some times this season. So yeah, Patrick Hen will be looking to do a great job here this evening in Server 2, as he has done multiple times already this season. And we'll definitely be looking to continue that. Patrick Hen is the one who we're looking with. Like I said, has been quick over the course of the season, has had his fair share of unlucky things happening to him. And here he is, Mirko Bortolotti. And who is he towing through? Is that Thomas Piba? No, it's not Thomas Piba, excuse me. It's Stefano Pellegrino who is towing along. And Stefano Pellegrino jumps himself up with that tow into P3 in the silver class. Not too bad there from Stefano Pellegrino. Now Mirko Bortolotti says, roll to reverse now. Now you are going to tow me along. Jonas Vana as well. He is one that I think we will need to, or we will be looking at to improve. Of course, he is in the Porsche, the car with 30 kilograms of ballast because it was so quick last time out. And, well, let's just say he has that slipstream from the BMW's teammate ahead of him. And what can he do? Can he jump himself up? No, he can't. Was improving everywhere. But that last sector is really, really difficult for him with that weight. 0.02 of a second is the gap to Daniel Zoma. Daniel Zoma himself, of course, in P8. Something that we haven't done yet, and that I'm going to do now really quickly, is take a look at how the championship was, of course, lining up before we came into this evening. There we go. This is the overall championship. Mirko Bortolotti leading the way there, ahead of Jonas Vana, Benedict Hitz in P3, P4 for Hendrik Augustin, and Marius Zug in P5. That's the top 5 in the overall standings. I'm gonna scroll through them quickly, and you can of course pause it if you want to see where your favorite driver is. Here we have P11 to P30, and now we have P21 to P40, and that was it then. Here we have P31 to P50, and that was it. Let's go back now to the top and to the silver class. Here we have the silver class. No pages in this one. This is the full grade, so you can pause it if you want to look at it. This is before server 1, so this is not after server 1, this is before server 1. Well, having talked about that, We're still looking at people towing each other along. It seems to be a big part of this qualifying. Look though at positions 4 to positions 8. All those 5 cars are all BMW. So BMW looking mighty quick here this evening with the weight penalties that all the other cars got. Of course, still 25 kilograms for the BMW. So not too bad there for the BMW. The BMW is only 5 kilograms lighter than the Porsche. And that is showing at the moment. The quickest Porsche, Jonas Vana at the moment in P9. Quickest BMW in the hands of Clement Schmidt at the moment in P4. Mirko Bortolotti is still the one at pole position. Is he improving? He's not at the moment, and he's going to be starting another lap. He's just had his out lap, so of course he's not improving then. But let's take a look with Mirko Bortolotti. What Kennedy already pole sitter. In the background we have some Kazakh teams as well. They're all towing each other along. Mirko Bortolotti though, he already has his pole position. Does he need any more is my question. Does he need any more to take that pole position, or does he know that his lap time is quick enough to do so? 2 minutes left in qualifying. This is Mirko, probably his last lap, if not his second to last, because we are coming close to the end of qualifying now. Lap times are on 1 minute 31 if you go on an average. And well, the first one into the 1:31s is the man in P11, Martin Stadtmann, the last drivers of the overalls. That is ahead of all the silvers. So not too bad there by Martin Stadtmann. Niels Langeveld jumps himself up into P7. Mirko Bortolotti at the moment not improving. Marius Sugdom looking with him. He did improve last time round. Got to within 700ths of a second of Mirko Bortolotti. This is his last lap, his last shot at glory. And he is stuck behind the Aston Martin of Niels Langeveld. So Niels Langeveld doing Mirko Bortolotti an absolute favor here to keep Marius Suk behind him. Of course, he's on a fast lap himself as well, so he doesn't have to let him past. Of course, Marius Suk would have appreciated it if he did. But of course, Niels Langeveld has all the rights to try and improve himself as well. And he is improving in Sector 1 as Niels Langeveld. Where can he jump up to? Martin Stadtmann improves into P12 with a 1:31.019. This is the one we're still looking at. Ben Hitz, where can he jump up to? Across the line, he's going to come in just a second. We're keeping an eye on this, but I will keep you up to date. Across the line goes Ben Hitz, and it will be P6 for him, just 9.5 tenths off. Through the last corner now for Niels Langeveld. Clement Schmidt has come across the line. He will stay in P5. Mirko Bortolotti is in the pit lane. He will stay pole position, if not anything more. Behind that, Marius Suk, though, he did improve in Sector 1, Sector 2 as well. Can he pip Mirko Bortolotti to pole position? He cannot, though, and Niels Langeveld can't go up the rank either. But what a drive from Mirko Bortolotti. He takes pole position here as well. And ladies and gentlemen, this could be on for another Grand Slam. I don't know. I'm going to quickly check my facts here. If he had the fastest lap in the other server. Mirko Bortolotti, he definitely did. He had the fastest laps. If he has the fastest lap here, that could well mean that Mirko Bortolotti could have had the first proper Grand Slam. He needs to get 2 fastest laps and 2 race wins in order for him to, well, really make that happen. But, well, what a drive from Mirko Bortolotti it has been so far. And I don't think he could do any better than Mirko Bortolotti is doing so far. He has done everything he could. Literally everything he could. He hasn't dropped 1 point so far, has Mirko Bortolotti. But quickly, let's take a look, everyone, at the grid for this race. Here we go. Mirko Bortolotti will start this race from pole position ahead of Marius Suk. In second, it will be, or in third, it will be Daniel Sommer ahead of Hendrik Augustin. In fifth, it will be Clement Schmidt. A great drive from him, joining again in server 2 here. We're used to him joining a little bit late in server 2. Ben Hitz in P6 ahead of Josh Files in 7. Niels Langeveld in P8. who did a great job as well. Couldn't improve in that last lap where we were looking at him. Ben Green in P9. Of course, also a great job from him. P10 for Jonas Varna. That's not too great for the championship for him. That will allow Mirko Bortoletti, if it stays like this, to, well, gain some more points on Jonas Varna. In P11, though, it will be Maximilian Paul. Martin Stadtmann will start in 12th, as now everyone is on the grid. And they will be starting their formation lap shortly. Patrick Hen is the first one of the silvers. He starts in 13th overall, ahead of Hugo Zasse in 14th. Thomas Piba in 15th, ahead of Julian Rambo in 16th. The second of the silver class, Pascal Haas in 17th, ahead of Florian Becker, the third of the silver class on 18th overall. Stefano Pellegrino in 19th, ahead of Björn Ritter in 20th. Florian Stadtmann in P21, ahead of Thomas Lage in P22. Christian Maya in P23 and P24 for Sean Ter. And Matthias Lebelt rounds off the grid this evening. I'm excited to start this race, and well, let's just say it has been an amazing evening so far for all our drivers. Let's go on the roll bar at Mirko Bortoletti. You can hear, if I stay quiet for a moment, you can hear how bad Mirko Bortoletti is saving fuel. As you can hear, Mirko Bortoletti fuel saving a lot. He's now catching up to the pace car. As we're going to be green in just a second time. We're going to stay on board with Mirko Bortoletti for that start. On our inside, though, is Marius Zug in the ever so quick Aston Martin, because we know that the Aston Martin doesn't have any penalty weight. And that's probably why that car is so quick as well. This is probably your last chance to hydrate. Go and grab something to drink and to eat, because for the next half an hour you're going to be entertained with some beautiful W12 Sprint Series action. Coming to the green flag now. We're in the last corner. The safety car is, or the pace car is going to pull off to the right hand side in just a second. And now it'll be Mirko Bortoletti's job to wait on the 5 red lights until they go off. And then we're going to go green and green, green. Let's stay on board with Mirko Bortoletti. There we go. We're going to go green, green and green. Mirko Bortoletti starts them away from pole position ahead of Marius Zug. There's a crash in the background already. A lot of people involved in that, and Sean Ter is involved in that as well. Christian Maya. A lot of cars already out of this race. We're going to take a look back at the front of the field, though, because that's where the action is at the moment. Wow, I don't expect it to go that wrong at the start. You could hear it in the background, all the cars crashing. Luckily, though, the guys at the front of the field stayed out of that. Marius Zug is now still in second. Daniel Sommer third. Clement Schmid in fourth. And fifth is Jonas Varna. He is up 5 positions from his starting position. What a job from Jonas Varna. Tremendous job from him to get up that many positions. Daniel Sommer at the moment in P3. P4 for Clement Schmid. A little bit further back though, Ben hits and Florian Becker. Florian Becker in the Porsche. Ben hits in the BMW around the outside. Is Ben Hitz going to try and make that move? Can he make it stick? The next corner will be a right-hander. He can't make it stick. He's still there though on the inside, but he had to give that one up. Not quite able to make it stick there through the second part of the middle sector. Had to give up that P14. Still though, for him in P15 overall. The top 3 in the silver class looking as follows: Stefano Pellegrino in first, Julian Rambo second, and Florian Becker in third. Florian Becker though is the first one to go into the pit lane. And probably a lot more will follow from that first lap incident. Of course, the new damage model from iRacing, that was not the way we wanted it to be. We wanted it to be test out. Mirko Bortoletti a bit deep into turn 1 though. Mario Stuk is going to try and overtake him. Here we're going to go on board with Mario Stuk. There we have Mario Stuk. Where can he make this move? Mirko Bortolotti knows how to make that Mercedes as wide as possible. He knows how to make a GT car as wide as possible. Of course, he's driven in the DTM this season and has won the Daytona 24 Hours, so he knows how to make that car as wide as possible. But yeah, it's always difficult when you're racing against someone like Mario Stuk. Daniel Sommer in P2 ahead of Hendrik Augustin, who's made the move on Clement Schmidt. The gap from Daniel Sommer to Hendrik Augustin, though, 1.7 seconds, so that gap already above a second. So Hendrik Augustin will not have any slipstream from Daniel Sommer, which for Hendrik Augustin will not be helpful, because he's now going to be caught up by Clement Schmidt and Hugo Sasse in his slipstream. And as we all know, if you're fighting, you're going to lose time, and you never want to lose time to these top two. This is, though, a great slipstream opportunity for Mario Stuk. Let's see how close he can get into turn 1. 2.5 tenths is the gap. He's gaining. Can he make a move into turn 1? It's getting closer. He's saving fuel, though. Mario Stuk is cheekily saving fuel behind Mirko Bortolotti. He doesn't need to attack. He can just wait until the pit stop phase and have a shorter pit stop. Or maybe just go a lap longer. We're on board now with the BMW, trying to overtake Jonas Warner, the Porsche ahead of us. I have to say, I love this camera shot on the BMW, almost touching Jonas Warner through the left-hander. Luckily for Jonas, we didn't, and he can continue his way. Further back, though, we have another fight between a Porsche and an Aston Martin. Into the first corner goes Maximilian Paul. Makes that move stick on Florian Stadtmann. Doesn't go deep into turn 1. Beautiful move by Maximilian Paul. And he can now try and, well, close up that gap to Florian Becker ahead of him. Thomas Leigeb, Christian Meyer, Björn Ritter, Thomas Pieper, Sean Ter. All drivers that are pretty much out of this race, even though they're still driving, because they were involved in that starting crash. And, well, what a crash that was. It's probably something to do with the start. We're going to take a look back at it in just a second when the race has calmed down a little bit. Let's go back to the front, though, because that gap is only 1.5 tenths to the inside. Goes Mirko Bortolotti. Mario Stuk is paused, though. Mirko Bortolotti now allows Mario Stuk pause. He's now going to try and sit in the slipstream, and he's now going to try and save fuel. This is all strategy between these drivers. Here we are on board with Mirko Bortolotti. Where can he try and make this pass? Of course, on that back straight. It's a big slipstream game, this. If one of these drivers manages to break that slipstream, that could be really good for their performance. Of course, Mirko Bortolotti, that gap still 2.5 tenths to Mario Stuk. So he still has, well, he's firmly within that slipstream. Here you can easily pick up an off track. They both don't. And Mario Stuk is now the one leading the way ahead of Mirko Bortolotti. Mirko Bortolotti, 3.5 tenths is the gap over Daniel Sommer as well. What can Daniel Sommer do? Because he is in third, and he might be able to capitalize on anything that Mario Stuk and Mirko Bortolotti do. And Augustino, I think, a little bit too far back, has caught up that 1.5 seconds deficit that he did have in the beginning. Now the gap only 8 tenths. And Mirko Bortolotti, half a second is the gap at the moment. Mario Stuk in that Aston Martin looks rapid down the straight and looks rapid everywhere in the slipstream, though. Mirko Bortolotti is now able to catch up once again. No fuel saving tactics, though, between those two. Mirko Bortolotti knows that he needs to be quick in the slipstream. Gains 2 tenths on the straight. There is the fuel save from Mirko Bortolotti. Knows that he can do it. Look at that. Also fuel saving now from Mario Stuk. And Daniel Sommer goes past. What a pass! And that is the strategy between all those drivers. Daniel Sommer said, no, that's not going to happen to me. I'm not going to fuel save. I'm going to go flat out. And both of these drivers are now stuck behind Daniel Sommer because he was the only one who did not lift on the straight. And, well, we're 6.5 minutes into this 15-minute race now. What a drive from Daniel Sommer. What an action. And what an overtake. A double overtake into the first corner on Mario Stuk and Mirko Bortolotti. What a drive from Daniel Zoma, and I have to say one of the best overtakes I've seen this season so far, one of the smartest overtakes I've seen this season so far. But now it's a question of, can Daniel Zoma create that gap to Marius Zuk and Mikko Bortolotti for them to not overtake them? We know that the BMW is quick in a straight line. We know the BMW is quick over a lap, but is it quick enough to, well, drive away from Marius Zuk and Mikko Bortolotti, who do have the slipstream now coming out of turn 12? All the way from here down towards turn 1, it will be a slipstream fest for Marius Zuk, Mikko Bortolotti, Hendrik Augustin and Clement Schmidt, because he's definitely involved in that as well. Clement Schmidt, the one in the BMW, the 5th man in this, well, row of 5. The biggest gap now is the Hugo Zasse in 6th. Or in 6th. 1.1 seconds is the gap there at the front of the field, though. Can Mikko Bortolotti go for a move on Marius Zuk? Not quite, though. Manages to stick behind. Clement Schmidt, though, goes for a move up the inside of Hendrik Augustin. Great drive by Clement Schmidt. What a drive. What a move from him to get up into P4. Of course, this is all Fuse Navy strategies. This is all strategy. I think where we will see this race play out is after their pit stops. This kind of reminds me of electric driving, managing the battery and everything. They're not managing the battery this time round. What they're managing, though, is the fuel, their fuel consumption. They're managing how much they're getting back or how much fuel they use every lap to try and maybe refuel a little bit less during that pit stop, because as we know, all the time that you're stationary in the pits is time that you have to make up in or on the track, and it's not time that it's easily made up in a group like this. Daniel Zoma will be the one towing them all along. Daniel Zoma is the one who I expect is going to drop down, well, quite a lot after that pit stop phase, because he doesn't have, well, the privilege of a tow and the privilege of being able to lift off after this or on the straight to try and keep all the drivers behind, or to try and minimize his fuel consumption. And with that, Marius Zuk can, Mikko Bortolotti can, Clement Schmidt can. Clement Schmidt, though, if corrected to the pit lane. Mikko Bortolotti to the pit lane as well. Great drive from those drivers. Both of Daniel Zoma, Marius Zuk and Hendrik Augustin, they all go on for one more lap. Then let's take a look a little bit further back into the field. This is the BMW of Pascal Haas trying to overtake the Porsche of Matthias Lebel. Then he has done so successfully. Beautiful switchback from Pascal Haas. A textbook switchback now onto the straight, though. We know that the Porsche is quick. The Porsche does have 30 kilograms of ballast. So does the BMW. That has 25 kilograms of ballast. So only 5 kilograms in between those two cars. Matthias Lebel, though, decides to stick on the left-hand side of the racing track. Is not going to follow Matthias Lebel to the inside. Matthias Lebel's cuts back to the racing line, of course, to take his normal line through there. A bit further back, Chanter is going to try and overtake Björn Ritter. Can he manage to do so? Yes, he can. A little bit deep though into turn 1. Björn Ritter still around the outside of Chanter. Now the inside for turn 3. Beautiful move by Björn Ritter to try and defend that position. Chanter now under attack from Thomas Piba as well. The young German here, Chanter, under attack from two drivers. Tried to attack himself on Björn Ritter. Had to turn attack into defense. It is now defending beautifully from Thomas Piba. Thomas Piba, though, has the inside for the right-hander coming onto the back straight. They're still side by side, though. Who is going to come out ahead? The better exit is for Chanter. Of course, now Thomas Piba has the privilege of that slipstream from Björn Ritter. Down the inside goes Chanter. They're still side by side. You couldn't fit a hair in between them, though, and they're still side by side. The inside now for the left-hander for Chanter. Where is this battle going to stop? Because Chanter at some point has to slot back in. Now he does. And now he slots back into P20. We take a look back at the front of the field. Hugo Zasse into turn 1. Ahead of behind Mikko Bortolotti. Hendrik Augustin in P2 and Marius Zuk in P1. All drivers, I can confirm, have made their pit stop now. It is a 3.5 minute sprint to the finish now. And well, what a drive it will be. it would be for Mario Stug to deny Mirko Bortolotti Grand Slam, first of all, because, well, I could see it happening after that pole position from Mirko Bortolotti. But, of course, Mario Stug and Hendrik Augustin have different plans. Seven tenths is the gap at the front of the field between the top three. And they might well be joined by Hugo Zasse in a second. 1.2 seconds is the gap to that Aston Martin. Hugo Zasse, who we know is quick, who we know has the pace to overtake Mirko Bortolotti, Hendrik Augustin and Mario Stug. But can he catch up without that slipstream? It's going to be difficult for him to do so. Niels Langeveld a little bit further back in the field is now going to be side by side with Julien Rambo. Julien Rambo, though, is, I think, oh no, this is Ben Green who's attacking. I thought for a second Niels Langeveld was in the BMW. He is not. This is Ben Green who is trying to overtake in the BMW. Niels Langeveld in P6 moves him to the inside, but is not happy with that. He keeps the inside. A beautiful switchback though by Niels Langeveld. Ben Green, can he carry down the outside now? Has to turn attack into defense. Julien Rambo though had to stamp on the brake pedal there in order not to hit Niels Langeveld nor Ben Green, and he will not be happy with that. He lost valuable tenths and seconds to the man in second in the silver class, Florian Becker in the Porsche. 9 tenths is the gap for him to Ben Hitz in P10. Daniel Sommer, the man at the moment in 5th behind Hugo Zasse. 2.8 seconds is the gap to Ben Green behind him. So he doesn't have to worry about being attacked from behind. He can just fully focus on attacking Hugo Zasse. But Hugo Zasse is doing those exactly what I said. He's gaining time on those drivers at the front of the field. They're going to be entering the last lap now. Here we're going to go on board with Hendrik Augustin. You can see on the left-hand side, if you look on the top left-hand side, if we go on board with Daniel Sommer, if you look on the top left-hand side, there will be Barry the flag man waving the white flag, and going for a move is Daniel Sommer on the last lap on Hugo Zasse. On the inside is Hugo Zasse in the Aston Martin. Can he brake late? Yes, he can. But Daniel Sommer brakes even later than him and has that position set up into P4. He goes in the last lap of this race. Mirko Bortolotti is up into P2. Can he make that slipstream work? Can he stay where he is now? This could well have been a masterclass by Mirko Bortolotti. Could it be Mirko Bortolotti is going to slipstream Hendrik Augustin to the line? He needs to stick as close as he is now though, because if he doesn't, he risks losing that toe or losing the draft, and then he could well be overtaken by Mario Stug. Mario Stug though still has chance to take P2 here in this race, because as we know, the run down to the line is quite long. Mirko Bortolotti trying to set up Hendrik Augustin, trying to get a bit of a gap, trying to get a good run out of this next right-hander. 5 tenths is the gap. There goes Mirko Bortolotti, is catching up now. On the exit though, Hendrik Augustin has a better exit. We're going to go on board with Mirko Bortolotti to see if he can do it. Can he overtake Hendrik Augustin? It doesn't look like it. It looks like at the moment Hendrik Augustin is just a little bit too far ahead. He's gaining, but it's not going to be enough. Hendrik Augustin comes through to win the first race of Server 2 ahead of Mirko Bortolotti. 1.5 tenths is the gap in the end over Mario Stug in 3rd. That gap is attained. And Daniel Sommer comes through in P4. Hugo Zasse in P5. What a drive from the drivers at the front. Mirko Bortolotti though denied a Grand Slam. A little further back, it's not over yet between these drivers. Take a look at this. Chanter has to defend from Josh Files. Can Josh Files make anything happen before the line? No, he can't. And Josh Files also has to settle for a position behind him. Well, what a race. Guys, I hope you enjoyed that race, because I definitely did. And it's not over yet. We're going to have another 18-minute race after this one. Wow, just wow. What a drive. Well, guys, take a look to refresh for a second. Take a look to do a mandatory pit stop, go to the toilet or anything. And meanwhile, we look at Sean Terry driving around the oval part of the track. The drivers have warmed up for a minute now. And I'm going to let my voice... And I'm going to give my voice a little bit of a rest, though, because I have to say, it does take a toll on you if you have to shout this long. Well, then we're back gridding for the last race this evening. And I'm going to do this, well, this grid as slow as I can. Because I have to say, my voice is taking a beating here this evening. And, well, I'm loving it, but it's also quite difficult. A reversed grid race, this one. Björn Ritter will be the one starting on pole position for WS Racing Esports. Out of FBP Racing, Marius Lebelt, or Matthias Lebelt. Pascal Haas in P3 ahead of Ben Green in P4. Clement Schmidt in P5 ahead of Florian Stadtmann. Everyone has gridded now, apart from Daniel Sommer, Jonas Wana and Thomas Leitgeb. Clement Schmidt in P5 ahead of Florian Stadtmann. Maximilian Paul in P7 ahead of Stefano Pellegrino. Florian Becker in P9 ahead of Ben Hitz in P10. Julian Rambo in P11 and Martin Stadtmann in P12. Niels Langeveld in P13. Hugo Sasse P14. Daniel Sommer in P15. Ahead of BS Competitions Marius Zug. Mikko Bortolotti, the man who finished second in the last race in 17th and 18th. The winner of last race, Hendrik Augustin. Could he do it again? Thomas Piba in P19, Chanter in P20. He's of course hoping for a better race because last time out wasn't his race. Josh Files in P21, Patrick in P22. Christian Maya P23 and P24 for Jonas Wana. And then the last on the grid is Thomas Leitgeb. Well guys, the last race of today is about to start and well, it's going to be an absolute cracker. It's going to be an absolute amazing one. And I am looking forward to it. I'm going to go on board with Björn Ritter. He's not saving as much fuel as the rest is though. So that could come back to bite him when he needs to make a pit stop. Maybe he's afraid to drop a gap to the safety car. You never know. We saw Mikko Bortolotti do it last time round. So why wouldn't it be possible this time round? I don't know. But Björn Ritter maybe not aware of that. Anyway. We are going to be looking on with Björn Ritter. He of course had not the best race in race 1. Gonna stay on board until we see the green lights. There we go. It's now Björn Ritter's turn to dictate the pace. There we go. It's green, green, green. And what a start from Ben Green in the BMW. Pascal Haas as well, who gets a great start. Let's take a look. We're 5 wide into turn 1. This cannot go well. They cannot all fit through. There was 6 wide at some point. This can not go well. This cannot all fit through there. They do, though, manage to all get through there safely. This is Ben Hitz back down to P13. There was a spinner in the background, though. I don't know exactly who that was, but it looks like Mikko Bortolotti has safely made his way through. And, well, he can work on a better position now in the race. Chanter, the one at the moment in second in the silver class. There's a crash, I think, in the background as well for Florian Stadtmann. He's off. He was in the lead of the silver class when he crashed out. Stefano Pellegrino, the one now in the silver class, is up in 5th overall. So what a drive from Stefano Pellegrino at the moment. Ben Green, though, what a start from him. He was absolutely flying at the start. We're going to take a look back at the start in a second when it has settled down a little bit more. Of course, not this early on in the race. Chanter, no, what has happened to the young German? There we go. Chanter has gone round. And that's something that nobody would have wished to see. Chanter, get back on the track, buddy. He's losing more and more time this way. There we go. Back on track is Chanter. He was in second in the silver class. Has now given that second position to Patrick Hen. Great driver Patrick Hen to come through here in second in the silver class. Gap though to Mikko Bortolotti ahead of him. That is 3 tenths at the moment, and I don't expect that to come down anytime soon. Ben Green, though, he will be the man who will look to try and create a little bit of a gap to Clement Schmidt behind him. Clement Schmidt, we know, is not a slouch at all in these cars. We know that Clement Schmidt is quick, but look at the top 3, though. I think it's obvious which car is the fastest here this evening. The BMW is so quick in the hands of just any driver here. And there we go, Clement Schmidt. We're on board now with the man in second. We're gonna go to Maximilian Paul, the man in the Porsche, the only other car in the top 4 than BMW. It's BMW, 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 Porsche, Aston Martin, Mercedes, BMW, Mercedes, Mercedes in the top 10. So 3 Mercedeses, 4 BMWs, 2 Aston Martins and 1 Porsche. That ballast, though, has really slowed down the Porsche. 30 kilograms for that car. And you can notice it that that car had 30 kilograms on. I think maybe next time 30 kilograms for the BMW as well. A little bit further back in the field. Stefano Pellegrino dropping down. Mikko Bortolotti is overtaken, and Patrick Hendo is now going to try and make that pass as well. He has the run. Look how quick he is. He's quicker than Mikko Bortolotti. He's gaining and gaining. Mikko Bortolotti himself, though, has the slipstream from Ben Hitz ahead of him. That's the only luck Mikko Bortolotti has. You can hear that BMW engine roar. Patrick Hen is going to try and make a move up the inside of Mikko Bortolotti. Not quite, though. He knows Mikko Bortolotti is one of the fastest drivers, and he is not going to put a foot wrong against him. He has lost a little bit of the lead, though. They're side by side, though. Coming into this section, it's on the inside is the Aston Martin of Marius Struk. What a drive from him to come through this quickly. 1.5 tenths now is the gap to Maximilian Paul, who's holding him up. The gap to the top 3 BMWs has opened up quite a lot. It's not something that he will want to, or not something that Marius Struk will be happy with. Maximilian Paul, though, already gaining back on Pascal Haas. Niels Langeveld, though, 4 tenths is the gap to Marius Struk. And Martin Stadtmann, 2 seconds the gap, though, to Niels Langeveld. So until they get there, it's quite a big gap, though, for Mikko Bortolotti and Ben Hitz to catch up. Here we're looking at the winner of last race, Hendrik Augustin, in the Aston Martin. Takes the inside on Christian Meyer. Christian Meyer not putting up anything of a fight here, it seems like, over Hendrik Augustin.
Gets the better exit though because he had that higher line through the banking. Can he maybe try something up the inside again of Hendrik Augustin? No, he's not going to try and do so. He knows that Hendrik Augustin is quicker. Mikko Bortolotti, I just saw it, having the fastest lap. Clement Schmidt, no! Clement Schmidt is round in the first corner. That's not what we want to see. Let's take a look back though at that green flag, and let's take a look at Ben Green. There's Ben Green. Take a look on Ben Green. There he goes. What a start from Ben Green on the left-hand side. He still has to pass, I think, the Mercedes of Martin Stadtmann on the inside, but what a start from the BMW of him. Scraping the outside though there. I don't know who that was, but that was the Mercedes of Martin Stadtmann maybe. Wow, what a start from Ben Green. And of course we had this happen to Chanter, the leader, or the man in second at the time. Coming into the left-hander after the back straight. What did Chanter do? Was it contact? Yes, it was contact, I think. Let's take a look back at that and go on the nose cam with Chanter. There we go. In front of us is Mirko Bortolotti. Was there contact with that Mercedes? There was definitely some contact with the BMW or with the Mercedes of Mirko Bortolotti. Did well though to keep away from everyone, but that's not what you want to see happening. Did that all on his lonesome though, Chanter, so it's only himself to blame, I think, for that one. Mirko Bortolotti had no part to play in that. Niels Langeveld has now got up into the first position. And it's not all BMWs anymore. There have been pit stops going on while we were looking at those replays. 7 minutes already gone, 11 minutes to go here in this last race of round 8 of the W12 Sprint Series Server 2. And the last race of the evening. A little bit further back though, Ben Green, what can he do against Maximilian Paul? Tried to move around the outside, now to switch back. Can he move to the inside? Not quite though, had him covered. But what a drive from Ben Green to, well, first of all, that start was blistering quick, and he must have almost jumped the start to be that quick. I don't hope after the race he will get a penalty for that, because that was an absolute quick start. Unbelievably quick, and well, I'm gonna take a look back at that after the race again. But here he goes, Ben Green with the slipstream on the outside of Maximilian Paul. Has the slipstream of Niels Langeveld out of him as well. Turn 1, this is done before they get to the braking zone. Maximilian Paul tries it though, down the inside. There's contact between the two, and Maximilian Paul is round. That was a, well, let's just say that was a, wow, Maximilian Paul, that was a, I can't find the word now. I can't find the words for the dive he just did. It was a brave launch up the inside, and there was a big possibility of it going wrong. And in the end, though, sadly for those drivers, it did. Hendrik Augustin, though, look at this man up in P4. 5 seconds is the gap to Marius Souk. That is not going to be easy to close down. We know how quick Marius Souk is. And he has about a 2/10 gap to Ben Green. Niels Langeveld, though, at the front of the field, though. 1.4 seconds of a gap. If there's one time for Niels Langeveld to win a race, it might well be now, in the quickest car this evening in the Aston Martin with no ballast. P1, P3 and P4 for Aston Martin, so this could well be an evening for Niels Langeveld. If he, of course, can make it round, he's going to go into the pit lane. Yes, he is. There we go, Niels Langeveld. Not going to wait any longer. Is Ben Green and Marius Souk going to follow him in? The answer is they are not. Ben Green continues. Marius Souk continues. Marius Souk, though, is going to try and make that pass now on Ben Green. Can he then send it up the inside? I have a feeling he can. There we go. We're going to look with Ben Green. On our inside is Marius Souk. Brilliant dive from Marius Souk. Had that covered when they got to the braking zone. A better exit, though, for Ben Green. Where is he going to go, though? He's not going to go to the outside. And, well, Marius Souk brakes quite early. Not a hard braking zone, this one, luckily for Ben Green. Otherwise, he might have run to the back of him. But a lot of drivers, as you can see, Stefano Pellegrini, Nils Langeveld, Clement Schmidt, Maximilian Paul, Henrik Augustin, Christian Meyer, all into the pit lane. And all hoping to have the best strategy. This is where Ben Green loses out a bit to... Or this is where Pascal Haas loses... Excuse me, this is where Ben Green loses out a bit to Marius Souk. I'm used to Nils Langeveld being in front of these two, but that's not the case anymore. Ben Green, though, what a drive from him. Marius Souk, though, is now going to try and stay out as long as possible. Try and create a little bit of a gap that if he can, and see where he's going to get out. These two are the only drivers who have not pitted yet. So let's hope that they can. Into the pit lane, they both go. Marius Souk and Pascal Haas. Where are they going to break though? Ben Green breaks way later than Marius Souk. And he might have well gained a couple of tenths though there on Marius Souk. Let's see where these two are going to come out. There we go, they've both found their pit stall. Ben Green is a little bit further up the road. But Ben Green has now also found his pit stall. We're gonna see Marius Souk come through in a second. Oh, that's a very quick pit stop for Marius Souk. Let's see. It's gonna be close on exit. Where's Mikko Bortolotti? There's Mikko Bortolotti and there's Marius Souk. Marius Souk might have just pulled off the best strategy of it. This entire W12 series, Sprint Series Season 4. What a drive from Marius Souk to get past everyone. And well, let's just say his pit lane time was 1.3 seconds quicker than Mikko Bortolotti. Look at what the gap is to Mikko Bortolotti. 1.3 seconds. So he pretty much made all of that gap by having a shorter pit lane time. And it's not the first time that Mikko Bortolotti has a longer pit lane time. Also a longer pit lane time than Pascal Haas behind him. 6 minutes left though for Mikko Bortolotti to try and chase down Marius Souk. I have to say though, for Mikko Bortolotti to finish second twice in this server, take pole position and win all you could win in server 1, it's not too bad. He will still gain a massive amount on Jonas Warner in P2 in the championship. If Jonas Warner is even still P2, because it could be that Henrik Augustin overtakes Jonas Warner. Of course, Jonas Warner is out of this race, so there could be a big possibility that that is the case. But as I said, we don't know until we have that confirmation. 5 minutes left here in the W12 Sprint Series Season 4, Round 8, Server 2, Race 2. Here we go, Mikko Bortolotti. Where can he go to? Where can he try and make that pass? He is within slipstream range now. And he's definitely within striking distance, I think, next lap of Marius Souk. I think Mikko Bortolotti might as well have this covered, because he looks to be the quickest of the two. And with that slipstream that he's going to get now, he's going to be even quicker down his back straight, down the front straight. He's going to be quicker basically everywhere at the moment. 3/10 is the gap. He's setting him up to overtake him on that backside. Look at that. It's almost breaking towards him. Mikko Bortolotti. Where can he try and make that pass? Here we go, Mikko Bortolotti has the run on Marius Souk. I was quiet for a second to give you all the time to listen to the roar of that Mercedes engine. Now it's going to be Mikko Bortolotti for the lead. Can Marius Souk hold it? No, he can't. Mikko Bortolotti is not going to go deep here. He knows he has this covered. He knows he's the quickest of the two. Now, can Marius Souk hang on in that slipstream to maybe do something on the last lap, maybe do something that Mirko Bortolotti couldn't do in the last race, and maybe try and re-overtake into the last lap. Mirko Bortolotti, Marius Zug. This is one of my favorite battles I've seen so far this evening. This has been going on for quite a while now. And, well, I have to say, what a drive and what an evening this has been. And it's not over yet. Still 2.5 minutes to go. And, well, what an action-packed evening. I don't know where to look back at, because every race was just full of action. So if you guys at the end of the race have anything to say, look back at that or look back at that, let me know, and I will see if I can get it on screen for you and get a replay of it, because there's so much that happened here in this race. Clement Schmidt now trying to make the overtake. Maybe Julien Rambo also getting overtaken here by Thomas Piba. Can Thomas Piba make that overtake stick? Not quite though. Julien Rambo defending second position in the silver class, but also defending 11th overall. And as we know, all these drivers are driving for overall positions. Hugo Zasse in P10, 9.7 seconds ahead of this struggling Julien Rambo, with a whole train of cars behind him. We go back though to the front. Ben Green, what can he do? He's making a move on Patrick Hen. Can he make it stick though? Patrick Hen doesn't have to fight this, and Ben Green is off! Ben Green is off. He did not have to fight it as hard, but he did. And the man with a, well, lightning start is now off the track and is back into the pit lane, and that has ruined his whole second race. With probably 1.5 laps to go, Ben Green is out of race 2. I have a feeling that might well have been Ben Green on his own, catching the curb on the inside. Not happy with that. We're going to take a look back at that after the race. But before that, we of course have this to look at. This is an amazing battle between Maximilian Paul and Stefano Pellegrino a little bit further back. Clement Schmidt, what can he do on Florian Becker to try and gain a further position? He got unlucky, of course, did Clement Schmidt. At the front though, Mario Souk not giving Mirko Bortolotti an inch. They're now going to enter the last lap. 2.5 tenths is the gap. Could Mario Souk do anything into turn 1? Or is he going to leave it behind Mirko Bortolotti to try something maybe on the last lap like Mirko Bortolotti did? He has definitely been able to hang on with Mirko Bortolotti better than I thought Mario Souk would, because it looked like for a moment Mirko Bortolotti was about half a second to 7 tenths quicker a lap, which you're not going to gain by being in the slipstream though. You're maybe going to gain 5 tenths but not 7, so that will be deficit of 2 tenths in the end. And let's see if Mirko Bortolotti can keep hold of this pole position in this server. He was quick in race 2 as well. Was so close to winning there as well. Was second. Has been so close if he wins this one to the Grand Slam. But the most important thing for Mirko Bortolotti is that if he can keep ahead of Marius Souk here, that he's going to get valuable points in that fight for the W12 Season 4 Championship, where he's already so comfortably ahead though. The gap is only 2.5 tenths. Is it going to be enough though for Mirko Bortolotti? Marius Souk already gaining, and we're not even into the last turn. Mirko Bortolotti is of course going to keep this to the left hand side. Marius Souk is gaining. They're going to be side by side in the run down to the line. Who's going to take it though? It's going to be Mirko Bortolotti who wins the second race here over Marius Souk and Niels Langeveld. What a drive from Niels Langeveld, Marius Souk and Mirko Bortolotti. Pascal Haas also, what a drive from him. Finishes it off in style though. Wow, wow, wow. What a race from these drivers. The last one to come across the line is Christian Meyer. For us, it's time now, I think, to look back at what happened to Ben Green. Oh no. Here we have another incident. All on his lonesome. Chanter. What did he do in the Porsche? Just came to a halt and reset it back to the pit lane. Where is the Ben Green incident? I can't find it. There we go. There's the Ben Green incident. We're going to go on board with Ben Green. See if there's contact. Was there contact? Oh, no. That's maybe from behind. Let's take a look with the Aston Martin. Oh, yeah. There was the contact. Well, who would you blame that on? That is, well, I wouldn't know. I wouldn't know. Let's take a look back at that again. This time from the perspective from Marius Souk. And take the nose perspective. This is not the one I wanted to. Where is Hugo Zasse? There he is. Hendrik Augustin. That's the one. Found him eventually. Here we go. Yeah, it looks like Hendrik Augustin just pokes his nose through. And Ben Green does not realize that, just turns in. I think that's a racing incident at best. If not just no further action. Because I have a feeling Ben Green did that to himself. And it's gutting for Ben Green. But he had such a great start at the beginning. Let's take a look back now at the live pictures. And while we do that, we do not have anyone waiting in the waiting room, sadly. So no interviews at the moment. Let me quickly ask them. Okay, that's not gonna happen. Well then, no one is in for an interview at the moment. Let's then just take a look at the result that has happened so far, and let's review it back. There we go. Let's first drag someone in, and let's first drag Florian Ebeka in. Florian, welcome. Well, Florian, tell us, how was your evening? And, well, how was race, especially the last race for you? Yeah, well, it doesn't sound like server 2 completely went to plan for you. I think all in all, a frustrating evening with running out of fuel on the line in the V8 and then getting, just crashed out twice here in the second server. Yeah. So server 1 for you, good race. Server 2, well, not so much. No, I agree with that. Yeah, yeah. Well, I mean, if we look at the Silver Class Championship, if I quickly take a look at that, you started this week or this evening in second. Benjamin Moser is the one you needed to overtake. He was, if I'm correct, not here this evening, so you did a good job. At least in the first server of catching up. And still, even with that crash in server 2, you still got fourth in the Silver Championship. Or fourth in the Silver class, so... Yeah, well, Florian, it's been amazing to have you here. A frustrating lost server, but I think looking forward to next week. Well, that was Florian Becker. The only one who we now have waiting in the waiting room is the one, the only, who almost did it. We were talking about it last week and we had a little discussion, but you didn't quite do it. It was just not enough, I think, by 3 tenths in race 1 in server 2, that Grand Slam. But you did a good job for the championship, Mirko. Tell us, how was your evening? Yeah. Yeah. Well, Mirko, I think if we look at server 1, you were dominant. You got the fastest lap. You won both races, and you qualified on pole position. But you, at some point, it was looking like Jonas Vana was going to get past you. But then you decided to, well, concentrate for a bit, I think, and you pulled a 5 second gap.
No, I think it was also a big part played the strategy there because the V8, obviously the temperature we had on server 1 was quite high, so the tire degradation was huge today on the V8. And obviously, if you pit early for new tires, you will be really quick in the middle part of the race. If you manage to survive that part and you go for new tires in the end, then you can easily stretch the gap again. So Jonas decided to go for an undercut, which actually worked. I think he ended up in traffic a little bit.
Yeah.
So maybe that's the reason why he couldn't uh, pass me in the process. So
Yeah, he got stuck behind Hugo, I think, and that's why he didn't get past you at pit exit.
yeah, and then once I came out of the pits, I knew I knew there was like a 50-50 chance that I might be behind him, but I still knew I would have a tire advantage over him for the last 5-6 laps. And if you believe it or not, the drop was around 1 second a lap.
Okay.
From the first 2 laps were the best, and then after starting from lap 3, there was a huge drop. And
Is that track
that's actually
dependent, you think?
no, it's actually something that we see quite often, but on that track tonight it was even greater. So yeah, it was for sure important to manage your tires.
And what do you think that's down to? Is that down to, well, the amount of low speed corners, or the amount of, well, grip that you need from the tires in those low speed corners, or was it just in general the circuit, a high degradation circuit?
I think probably just the fact, as you mentioned, with the low speed corners, that means you're always first, second gear most of the time. You need to be, you're always accelerating. You need the traction, basically, the low speed traction, and the car doesn't really have a lot of traction in iRacing. So yeah, it makes things definitely a bit more, even more difficult. Yeah,
Yeah.
and so the strategy starts to kick in at some stage. So you see guys pitting early, maybe gaining a lot of ground at the beginning, and then in the end, when the others start to pit and maybe go for tires, then you see the difference going in the other direction. But still, there is no right or wrong strategy. Sometimes the undercut works, and sometimes it's better to stay out. But the risk is higher to stay out long and, for example, make a mistake or getting stuck in traffic. And then, after the race, it's always easy to say that was the right way. But during the race, you have, few seconds, take a decision. What should I do? Should I go long? Should I go short?
Yeah.
Sometimes it works out one way, sometimes the other.
Hey, and even if you think that during the race you took the perfect strategy, there's always a way after the race where you can think, oh, I could have done even better that way. So that's just always after the race. There are so many options to choose from in terms of strategy that most of the times you don't choose the quickest. That's how many there are. But coming to server 2 then, you were dominant in server 1. We switched to server 2. You got pole position as well in a car that had 18 kilograms, if I'm correct, of ballast. And it looked like not the cars without the ballast, the McLarens or the Aston Martins were one of the fastest, but it looked like at some point the BMWs were very fast as well.
Yeah, I think it was really well balanced between Mercedes, BMW, and Aston on that server. Unfortunately, there was no McLaren at all in the race. So I really don't know why the guys that had one at their disposal, why they didn't take it on that track, because I was pretty sure. I mean, if I had a McLaren on the entry list, I would have for sure taken that for Indy. And yes, the pole position honestly was all about timing and slipstreaming. So I was in a really good spot in qualifying. At first I was ahead of Marius Zug, so he did his lap behind me, so he gained a lot from that. And then we swapped position, even though we were not even talking to each other. And luckily he stayed out pushing for few laps, and that helped me a lot to be on pole on that track. So the slipstream really made the difference, coming out of the last corner all the way through turn 1. And if you have a fast guy ahead of you pushing as well on his lap, then it's easier to follow as well for an entire lap. And that's what brought me the pole in the end, on that server. And then the race, there was quite some fuel saving going on, as you could see.
Yeah.
So some drivers really suddenly decided to be really aggressive on that. I think it really played a factor, as you could see. In the end, we had, I think, 6 or 7 cars still fighting for the win. And that's what I said at the beginning here in the interview. It's always fun to race the Indianapolis 09 track layout, because without that last chicane here in at the end of the lap, let's say, it really really brings good racing.
Yeah. Well, I can remember one moment of fuel saving, and that was that I think you and Marius Zug or I think Hendrik Augustin were fuel saving, both. And all of a sudden you see a BMW coming past, and that is Daniel Sommer, who just annihilates you into turn 1 and says, okay, you guys can fuel save, but I will not. And were you scared at that point that when maybe Hendrik kept fuel saving, you would lose that toe to Daniel?
No, not at all. I knew the race not gonna be decided before the pit stop. So for me, it was just important to have a fast pit stop and be in a position where I can still fight right after. I mean, if you would come out of the pits with a gap that is bigger than 1.5, let's say, it would be difficult to close the gap. So for me, it was crucial to stay in the tow, and I knew it's gonna be decided afterwards.
Yeah. As you can hear, guys, a lot happened with Mirko Bortolotti. The last I want to touch on, Mirko, is when you saw, I think it was Marius Zug coming out of the pit lane in race 2, and you thought, oh, well, he's ahead now. Did you think at that point, with the tire advantage you would have, that he would maybe be able to keep ahead?
No, I didn't have tire advantage this race, because on the GT4s, nobody took tires. It would take way too long.
Okay.
On the V8, you can change tires in the same time while you do the refueling. And in this case, I think probably with the new update you can still do it, but it just takes too much time to be changed, you know. So it's not done within the refueling. It's done afterwards.
Okay.
So nobody took tires. But when I saw him coming out, I thought, yeah, the gap is too big, and Marius was extremely fast. So I really didn't expect to close the gap. But then he started fuel saving at some stage. I think he underfueled. And he actually ran out of fuel again, crossing the line, apparently, because he would have passed me there easy, I think, or it would have been a photo finish. And he had to lift before the line. So I think that Marius went really aggressive and just underfueled a little bit, and that gave me a chance to pass him.
Yeah. Well, Mirko, an exciting evening. All in all, I think you did a really good job for the championship, and I think this is one that is definitely going to stay. Not one of your worst evenings, I have to say. Of course, Mirko, thank you for your time, and anything to say after 8 rounds of this championship?
No, thank you, first of all, you guys, you and Kevin. Kevin is not here tonight, unfortunately, as we all know, so hope to see him next week. And yeah, thanks for your support, for keep improving on the broadcast, and yeah, just doing your thing as you can do. And I think it's a good opportunity to wish everyone Merry Christmas and a good time with the family, and then see you next week again for the W12.
Yeah. Thank you, Mirko, and thank you for your time.
Thank you, ciao.
Well, that was Mirko Bortolotti, of course, the man who dominated this evening. This has been all for us, and well, what an evening it has been. Sorry, of course, if you couldn't hear the first interview. I didn't realize that I had my audio not on for the drivers, so excuses for that. But yeah, of course, all thank you for staying here with us. We will see you next week, the day after, if I'm correct, Christmas evening. We will see you then. Stay safe. Have a great Christmas. And until then, bye-bye.